subject that probably some of you are going to be quite surprised to hear me talk about, but I think it's quite an important subject. And that subject is a scourge that has been appearing on social media. And now it has appeared here at Speaker's Corner.
Boo! Boo!
And what do they, who are these people? And again, you're going to be surprised to hear me say this. These people are something that many people have been accused of for months and for years. These people are the real far right, the real racists, the real Nazis, not the people that people have just been bandying around these words for months and years against anyone that says something that's of a different opinion. These are real, actual, dangerous, racist, far-right Nazis. And what do they call... Listen to how they behave for the next 20 minutes, by the way. And what do they call themselves, these Nazis? Because they've come up with a little phrase, a little name that they want to call themselves. And the name they've come up with, nationalists. And these people are trying to define nations solely by one thing of ethnicity. They are trying to define the British as one common ethnicity, with one common ancestry. They advocate for specific national interests of this apparent ethnic group, and they seek national independence. They seek self-determination for this one ethnic group.
Shut up, Nazi.
I'll come on to that. They base their whole basis of collectivism, and that's what it is, on an alleged common bloodline, an alleged common kinship and genetic heredity. So let's break it down. Ethno-nationalist, made up of two words. One ethnicity, one nationality.
English.
So let's go to the dictionary, because that's where I go to define and understand what words mean. So let's go to the Cambridge Dictionary. How do they define ethnicity? The fact of being from a particular race of people, a category of people who identify with each other, usually on the basis of a presumed common genealogy or ancestry, an inherited status based on a shared gene pool. Nationality, again, defined by the Cambridge Dictionary, the official right to belong to a particular country, the state of being of a nation, whether by birth or naturalization. Look across every single dictionary, every single source, and they all define nationality as defined by either birth or naturalization. That is a pure fact that these numpties choose to ignore. Every single dictionary. I define anyone to find me a dictionary that does not define nationality as a product of birth or naturalization.
The English are born in
The
England.
saviour
So
of
it
the
is
UK.
very, very clear that these two definitions are different. They are clearly distinct. They are describing different things.
No, you're wrong.
And we all know this. Whenever we apply for a job, we're asked those two questions separately. We're asked, what race are we? We tick the white, the Asian, the black, the mixed box. We then ask what nationality we are.
White British,
Listen to
white
me.
Irish.
Then we're asked what nationality we are. That is obvious. It's what our citizenship is. We're British, we're French, we're Kenyan, we're Nigerian. And we can have dual citizenship. It is quite possible and legal across this globe to have dual citizenship. My wife has dual citizenship. Millions of people across the world have dual citizenship.
So why is it in the National Health Service they ask
carry on.
ethnicity? Because there's different diseases that affect different people.
Bring two words together that are completely different and try and make them one and the same. But notice how they tiptoe around, and they'll really try their best never to use the words race or never to use the words white people, because they know full well that those words will expose them for what they are, as real racists that they really are. So let's play along for one moment with the idea that British with the idea of British ethno-nationalism for one moment. So what is the British ethnic group? The ethnic diversity of Britain is self-evident. Just look around. But of course, they have to play down the reality of this country and of this nation. They have to deny the reality of these islands' history. Migration into this country has been happening for millennia. From the time of the last ice age to the 11th century, the Celts, the Romans, the Anglo-Saxons, the Norse, the Normans came here. Middle Eastern Jews, and they'll particularly hate this bit, Middle Eastern Jews came here after 1066. Roma have been documented here since the 16th century. The oldest black community date back to at least the 1730s in Liverpool. The oldest Chinese community in Europe came to Britain in the 19th century. As we all know, since 1948, we've had substantial immigration from Africa, the Caribbean, from India. And are all of those people that have been coming here for millennia, are their descendants not British today? People that have been coming here since the Ice Age, are their descendants not British? Genetic purity, which these deluded fools who misuse science, simply does not exist. We all have two parents. How can purity exist when half of our bloodline is from one person, the other half from another? We are all mixed race to one degree or another.
Some more than others.
People,
Some more than others, though. Some more than others.
People have
Some more than
interbred.
others. Some more than others.
People have interbred with one another
Norwegian and
for
Swedish.
centuries of history.
I'm 100%
We can all get our DNA tested today. We can all get our DNA tested. How many of these clones have even done that, I wonder? And we all know that the majority of us are made up of a weird and wonderful mix of DNA from around this globe because of the reality of the history of this nation. Ethno-nationalism is a concept about identity. It might be natural for humans to come together and to build identities and to organise themselves in groups. But let's be honest, these people are no different to the racists of South Africa. The people in South Africa who chose to identify themselves and divide themselves along pure ethnic lines. And they try and present this under the veil of ethno-nationalism today. They want the different races to be separated across the globe, just like the racists of apartheid South Africa did. But let's not deny ourselves. This isn't some cuddly, kind, deluded fools. This is dangerous. These people, this theory only leads to hate. This theory only leads to violence. And it's a hateful nonsense with no basis in science whatsoever.
You say that, the man knows your science.
Ralph, shut the fuck up.
I couldn't put it better myself.
Tell him.
An ethno-state that they say they stand for it has exclusionary rules to the core. They want to decide who can be let in. They want to decide who they force out.
Correct.
How can it ever be moral to judge individuals on the basis of their perceived characteristics of the group which they may or may not belong to? Bizarrely, they claim to hate the left and to criticise the left's obsession with identity politics. Yet their whole ideology is on the basis of generalising because of the group that they decide to put you into. Their collectivist concept is surely the absolute definition of identity politics of the left.
Blah, blah, blah.
And there may be people here who are tempted to listen to the intellectual response.
You sound like a social justice.
There may be people here tempted to join them, not realising the extreme nature of this movement. They will tell you it's about nationalism, about being patriotically British, and that the Finnish or the Belgians are no more welcome here than the Kenyans or the Nigerians.
You let them all in.
This is
You
an
want more
absolute
comment.
lie. frequently they slip up and they drop their guard. They let slip the sheer lie that this is,
let slip the dogs of war.
exposing the true racism and white supremacy of their perspective. Oh, Steve, is your wife not white? Oh, is she not even Northern European? They expose the core of their white supremacy racism time and time again.
White supremacy.
And today, they are so desperate to recruit people. They are desperately circling around like vultures, circling around the Tommy Robinson movement, thinking that this might offer them rich recruitment.
Yeah, it's not happening.
Yes, they may find one or two people.
Stand with Nazis.
But I can assure them,
Never stand with a
no doubt
Nazi.
whatsoever, that the vast majority of Tommy fans see them for exactly
Yes,
what they are.
yes.
Racist.
Well said. Well said, Steve.
Racist vultures,
100%. Yep.
desperate for a fan base.
Yep.
Tommy himself fought for years to keep these racists out of his movement,
Yep.
to keep out the extremists, the actual far-right racists. One of his convictions was punching a Nazi in Sunderland, was it? Tommy stood from the start against these white supremacist racists.
I
Well
look at
said.
the white
Well said,
supremacy.
Steve.
Look at me, man.
And I'll tell you
I'm a
what,
fucking white
one tiny little thing that shows me that I'm right.
Oh, yeah?
I put out a tweet only a few days ago, and believe me, I'm no Ricky Gervais on Twitter. I don't have a big following. But this one tweet, I think,
Ricky
probably
Gervais.
got one of the biggest response that any tweet I've ever
Trigger
put out
warning!
got.
Trigger warning!
And the tweet that I put out
Trigger warning!
was this.
Trigger
tweet.
warning to the far right!
This
Trigger
tweet.
warning!
They got Tomasik brothers, actually know that.
And only a few words I added to this tweet. Are these men British?
No.
Are these men British? Without doubt, in my view, they are. That tweet got the biggest response I've ever got.
you need to be
Well, in
fucking
case you
red-pilled,
noticed,
mate.
Scotland is
If
part
you
of
believe
Britain.
that man is a Scot, that is a disgrace to every Scottishman.
This tweet, which for me and my small level of following, got over 110,000 views. 3,000 people liked this tweet. 425 people retweeted it. Of the over 400 responses, by far the massive majority of responses was resounding support that these men are true Brits. And most of the responses absolutely agreed these were true Brits, and the people were proud
Do you
of
know
these
how
people
ignorant you
being
are?
true Brits.
You're being ignorant.
If you think
So
that
I know I do not stand alone in calling these
British, they
racist
may not be
fools out.
ethnically Scottish, but they're British.
These people have done and will do more for Britain than I ever have and ever will, and certainly more than these clowns will ever do for the nation
you
state
call
of
that man
Britain.
a Scottishman and you're calling me a clown. You must
He said British.
The values that are important to me, and which I think are important to the vast majority of the British population, are the traditional,
honesty.
now don't get triggered again,
Truth.
the
How
traditional
about truth?
liberal values of freedom, tolerance, equality and individual rights. These values help to define what British is about, not your DNA, what your views, what your values, what you believe in your heart. That's what makes you British.
Here, fucking here.
To all those that have come and participated and contributed to this society, that have respected and contributed to this culture, whether Sikh in background, whether Jewish, don't get triggered, whether Caribbean, whether Polish, it does not matter.
Shamima Begum, it doesn't matter, she's British.
Mark Collect's a Nazi bum boy, fuck him.
Down to Mark Collect.
These people, as I said, are vultures circling around, desperate for membership. Don't fall
have
for
your
it.
Shamima
Bottom
We
feeders.
know what Britishness is.
Shamima Begum,
They
you're
don't.
British, mate.
Don't let them get the
Shamima
limelight.
Begum is British.
They are
You
fools. They are racist fools
Wait,
who I can tell you are under very close surveillance by the state
God.
because the state knows the potential threat
But not
that
boo.
these people serve.
Thank you for
And
being
we will
acknowledged.
not allow them.
We
We
shall
will
fight
not
in
allow
the-
them. We will stand with our brothers, and sisters, whether Sikh, whether Jewish, whether Polish. We will stand together against these fascist Nazis. I thank you.
Big up to Steve, well done!
for Prime Minister. Now, obviously, I need to say my bit as well, yeah? Because, you know, I've got to do what I've got to do. No, you're crazy, man. I'm not that brave.
It's a good speech.
Yeah,
Did you want my lad?
No, I don't want the lap.
So,
Big up Steve in the park.
Yeah.
Exposing the Nazis.
So what we're going to do today
Made it very clear. Well
over the
done.
next couple of weeks, we're going to challenge this particular ragtag of Nazis or racists, whatever they are. And every week, we will talk about a particular subject matter. Now, we will try to keep it civil because it's a very serious situation going on at the moment. Where you have, when you have here certain individuals here linked to people like Mark Collette, yeah, who has been a Nazi in the past, and in my opinion, has not given up his views. Now, a lot of people would say that Tommy Robinson is a racist, I'm a racist, he's a racist, we're all this here. But if you really want to see the far right, this is it. The far right, I'm a civic nationalist. I believe everybody is part of the UK as long as you are contributing and want the best for the UK. Now, I will deport people if I ever come into power, but that will not be based on religion or race. I will deport him and every one of them that think that kind of mindset, and the jihadis as well. But in my opinion, these guys are very dangerous in the sense that they are like Anjem Chowdhury. On one side you have Anjem Chowdhury, who's radicalising young men into committing acts of violence. It's only a matter of time that these guys are going to radicalise a kid, and that kid will go on to do something very serious against the state. And I hope that these guys are being watched. Now, what we're going to do today, Steve,
The audacity of hope.
basically, Steve, the reason why Steve's the leader of this movement is not because he's white. Before everyone starts crying, Raj, let the white man take control. It's because of meritocracy. Because this guy is the first person to really challenge these guys publicly. If I did it, I'd be in charge. But I am second in charge, there's no doubt about that. Yeah, so if he's not here, I'm running things. Now the thing is, what we'll start today, we're going to ask the question today on our first topic of many. 2 days ago, Ralph said that he wants hate crimes to increase. I've got the audio. He says he wants hate crimes to increase in the UK so that the UK will be destabilised. So we will start discussing today, why do you want hate crimes to increase in the UK?
Because I can see one more number. I want to see hate crimes +1. Right, so one. Then it's John Down.
So you said 2 days ago that what you would wish hate crimes to increase in the UK against minorities.
That's not what I said.
Do you want me to play the recording? I've
No,
got it
what I
right now.
said is
So I can put it right here.
He did say
Shall we do it? Shall we do it?
what
All right.
Shall
I play it?
Let me tell you
What
what
he's
I
going to do is going to try and deflect. We'll
No, I'm
play
gonna
it.
actually, can I talk now? You've had a long
Well, are
word.
you going to deny you said it?
No, I'm going to speak my
Are you going to deny you said it?
I'm
Yes or
gonna
no?
speak my way. You be quiet.
No.
Take turns.
You're not gonna bully me
You're not
around.
gonna
So
take
I'll
turns, so
talk
then we
when I
keep
want
talking
to
over
do.
each other,
No.
we
Are
keep
you going to
talking
do
what
first?
else
You
you
going
talking
to
over.
right? So
No, I
just to
keep
save
talking over
time,
you. I know other
I'm
words
going to
you could
play
say,
it
I'm
first.
gonna sit
Yeah.
there, I'm gonna talk over you. He's Scottish. He's not a Scottish guy.
that's your granddad.
He's not a Scottish guy. It is a Scottish.
Just so that we don't.
It's a black and white truth. And you believe this man is a Scottish man? You should join this movement. If you believe the Scottish
So
people
just so that we
are
can
being
just, make
insulted
sure-
by this guy because Scottish, you
So
know where
listen.
to find us. End of proof. Do you believe this man is Scottish? And you think he's Scottish? Join the other British man and company.
You're not going to hear it.
Nazis usually
So what we'll do,
Look how he
is
runs
on
away with
here,
that,
I have a
yeah?
recording of this gentleman
Yeah.
saying that
Let's
he
have a look.
wants hate
Let's have a
crimes
look.
to increase.
I want
So
hate
that is
crimes
the
+1.
That is
I
what
want
we
hate crimes
need
to
discuss.
increase.
All right, let me put it on the mic
crimes
with
to
COE.
increase +1.
So I'm going to play it and listen.
Oh, listen. Ooh. Everyone gets COE. Everyone subscribe, like, and share COE. Mainstream media. Subscribe, like, share COE. Mainstream media. I stand by everything I've always said. I haven't been able to say anything because this time something up. Quite liberal. I'm having some. Yeah, listen. The birds are. Here's what I've said anyway for the record while they're playing it. In the last 10 years, if you look at the data from the ONS, the hate crime are very, very calm. In the last 6 years, hate crimes against race and
Don't
hate
let
crimes
him. Don't let
against
him talk
religion
here, because this is the
are
most.
increasing.
This is a killer point.
So the hate crimes against so the hate crimes against race and religion are rising, and across Europe, equally showing you that there's discontent in society, and that is usually a leading indicator of right-wing violence.
Make sure you get the COE logo, everyone.
That's just the data. As all of them go down to the true right, and they should, you can get all of them going down to the true right, and they come down. As England rises, these people.
Yeah, I got it. So
as England rises,
people can listen to that online. You can't hear it here.
As England
You
rises,
hear it on COE.
as England
But
rises,
this guy said he wants hate crimes to increase. We need to ask him, why do you want hate crimes on minorities to increase?
Yeah, go on. So I'm trying to explain, right? So as hate crimes rise against race and religion.
Let's not on these hate figures. This clown put one graph up of hate figures. I immediately, as soon as I saw that graph, I went to the website, the national website where these figures were. And obviously, there's lots of information. If you look behind, yes, we all know that. If you look behind them.
Behind them?
Yes, i.e. the numbers and the division of those statistics behind the numbers that were behind them.
Behind the office.
Yeah, well.
I mean, what is behind
exactly.
the office?
So basically, it breaks it down. And do you know the two areas where the hate crime has increased within the window that was being analysed in that report? Trans hate and homophobic hate.
Good.
If you looked at the race hate, that was it's gone up, but a minuscule amount. But if you look at the trans hate, absolutely huge percentage increase. And if you look at the homophobic hate, absolutely huge increase. But of course, he doesn't want to do. He doesn't want to expose that because it's against his narrative. It doesn't support his narrative. All he wants to say is we're all beating each other up because of our racial differences. That's the lie he's trying to spin. But look at the statistics, and it's hate against trans people and about gay people. So there's the fact. So if you're going to present statistics, look behind them. That's my point.
Let me explain the data here. So if you look at the actual numbers that have climbed up to last year, because Steve is on debate on live stream losing all these points. Let me explain the data. I'm a computer scientist. If you look at the data, what you see repeatedly is when hate crime rises against race, religion, or other little people like these metrosexual things, and when hate crime rises against them, when these hate crimes rise, it shows that right-wing movements are rising. My only point is, when they rise, it's evidence downstream that anti-Semitic attacks, heterosexual attacks, race attacks, hijab attacks are showing that the people are discontent enough for that to bubble up as violence. We in the right see that as a leading indicator of inevitable political success.
But you're the ones who are also whipping up that hate.
We are,
and the reason it goes up is you're the ones who are identifying those people for hate.
So do you think people don't hate each other?
But you are the one who's whipping up the hate that causes those
So may I respond?
Well, I hear these
May I respond? So do you believe people hate? Do you believe people hate only because they're told to hate?
But if you're whipping up
No, that's not my question.
You are
Not my question. I heard you.
fanaticizing the right.
You're repeating yourself.
Do you agree with me, though?
Yes, you're repeating yourself.
Do you agree with me?
But
Do you agree with me?
Yes, but can you answer my question?
Thank you very much.
So my question to you is, do you believe people hate without being told to hate?
People hate because people are gullible and they're whipped
So
up.
you agree with me?
And
People
they're
hate
groomed by people
into
conspiracy theories and all sorts of things to make them hate people.
What's the difference between Tommy Robinson supporters and Tommy Robinson fanboys whipping up hate amongst people?
I'm not talking about Tommy Robinson.
No,
I'm not talking about Tommy Robinson. Why do you bring up Tommy Robinson? I'm talking about myself.
I'm whipping out hate. Don't let these guys derail the conversation and dominate. I will say something here that when I asked him, do you want murders to increase? He said no.
I said
when I said, do you want hate crimes to increase? He said yes.
+1, I said.
So why would you want murders to not increase, but you want hate crimes to increase? So that's the thing. So you need to know that and you need to answer that.
+1, I said. So I didn't say no, I said yes, +1.
I'm not even taking personal. I'm just trying to say to you.
No, but the genuine question is, so what I'm saying is, so you can see, you're right, there's an interaction between society.
We should try
You're right,
and make the
there's
place a more collective,
that's the third point.
nice society,
objective, but
and that's what we should be
That's
pushing.
objective, but let me speak about hate.
British are willing to accept people. We have done for centuries. We're willing to accept people.
Good man, Derek.
So is it not the people that are coming in creating the trouble with the British?
The issue is,
Is it not the people creating the problem with the British?
Well said. Diversity plus
You're
proximity
integrated
causes
successfully into
conflict.
this country, and the only
Diversity
reason
plus
there's a hate
proximity
against
equals
them
conflict.
is that there's a prejudice against those people, whipped up by certain factions that will cause a hate.
They don't want to become part of the British society. They want to be part. They want to import their own society
that's a different
rather than
discussion.
becoming part of
That's
the
a-
British
that's a different
society.
discussion
That
about-
is no, that's the root of the discomfort. That is the root of the discomfort.
That's another topic that we can talk about.
Yeah, but that is the root of the discomfort.
That is the bigger
Leave it to the IQ, Derek.
If everybody assimilated, there would be no problem. But people don't want to.
Derek is on the money. Good man, Derek.
Countries, causing the
Everyone
trouble.
subscribe, like Black
Right,
Man.
I'm from Spain. And British people
Black
are
man,
very
I'm
well in
angry.
Spain.
It's
When
never-
they
Are
when
you?
they come,
He's
not
one of
all
us. He's one of our
but some
leading
of them,
guys.
It's never.
They get drunk. And that caused the Spanish NHS that caused loads and loads of bombs.
There's nothing wrong
I've been
with
chatting to you.
Ralph, can I ask you a
No,
question?
but the problem is when they get drunk.
Moving over this thing, but
Our
Can you
taxes.
Can I ask you a question, Ralph? I want to ask you a
That's the very fascist thing to do also. Tell the other ones that think.
How dare you call me a fascist?
They know.
I'm much further right wing than that. Don't you dare call me a
Ralph,
fascist.
I want to ask you a question.
Yeah.
We know
Far
something
right.
further right. Do you think do you think the British should be repatriated from Spain as they're not ethnically Spanish?
Yes.
Right. Okay. All right. We'll answer the question. So we are trying to be consistent.
We
on that
believe
point.
in the existence of the Congolese people and a future for
So the
Congolese
British will come
children.
back and everybody
In
else will
Congo.
leave. Is what we're looking at here.
Yeah, we believe in the future of Vietnamese children and Vietnam, and we do so for the English in England. We do not pretend that funny-looking guy in the kilt with a turban is a Scottish
We're
man.
here. We're Spain, man.
That's just
Can't do
tactics.
nothing about it. I
you-
told
you
you you're gonna have
currently
to.
said-
So we don't
to get me
believe
out.
these people are Scottish. It doesn't mean we deport all of them, but the first identity for to steal a man is to steal his identity. Derek is an Englishman. You're not. I'm not.
Yeah, all right.
He's
So
not.
we've heard your thing here. Now the thing about these guys,
And if you
they
deny
tried to be
English
civil.
people,
They
everything
tried
else
to
is
be
a
civil,
lie.
like they're kind of civilized people. But ultimately,
By
their
your own
end
words.
goal
Can I bring your own
is to
words?
use violence and intimidation to remove
Get
people
after
from the
this,
UK.
Dad.
These are the real savages out here.
Savages. Nazis.
Ralph, I want to ask you something
No
on
arguments,
camera here.
name calling. Yes, sir.
You said that when all the Africans, am I right, go back, you will. Can you tell you what's
When all the Africans go
I
back,
think you said pigeons.
the Africans?
Yeah, we got
You said when the Africans go back,
you're going to help the Christians.
you're going to help the Christians go with the sword. Yes.
So what I was so fairly
Right. You said when all the Africans have returned to Africa, Nigeria, for example, the Christians.
Pick up the Nigerian
the
people.
Christians are going to come, with the sword. Is that right? To do what? Did he say? What?
To remove them.
To remove them. Is that true?
What? The quote sounds very model. It doesn't sound like my thinking. So would you like my view on Christianity?
Do you remember saying that?
What you said doesn't even in my thought process.
A couple of weeks ago.
No, but what are you? I mean, it's very noisy. What do you want my positions on Christianity and the nation state in Nigeria?
Yeah, I mean,
Oh, come in, Lister.
So I believe. Let me tell you what I believe.
Reese's making the point. I'm trying to get it
There's
right.
just so many people.
I know, I realise.
Are you following the footsteps of Jesus?
I am
You said
a
there's four
far-right
different
Christian
theologies.
imperialist.
You said there's four
Yes.
different theologies.
Well, that's a different debate and question. We can happy to go.
So you
to
can do the
Christian
Crusades
Crusader
again on these
doctrine.
You're
people.
going to start the Crusades.
So I believe, if you want me to ask, I believe all nations should form their
what
nation
were the
states.
Crusades then?
I believe Christian
Explain what the
nations
Crusades
should
were.
support other Christian nations
Shout about it.
in the
What were the
formation of Christian Empire.
Crusades? What were the Crusades? You're saying, are we going to do the Crusades again? What were the Crusades?
There was a full military type of religious ideology going along the road in a militarised form that went and took over nations.
That's
No, it's
absurd.
not.
That's not true.
That's not what
That's
the
intellectually
Crusades were about.
Yeah.
The Crusades were pushing back the ideology of Islam because they were taking over Europe. They got into
and Jerusalem,
Spain.
from Jerusalem all the way, from Richard the
They
Lion.
were
As a
going-
military,
and-
religious force.
Correct.
Yes,
Yes.
to push
Yeah.
back.
Like
to
what I was
push
saying.
back.
Yeah, like the
To
idea.
push back, not extend, to push back.
That's another matter.
Just like the idea.
That's another
Like the idea.
That's another.
So, yeah, right.
It was to push back to to defend
not
Catholicism.
No, let's keep
So,
it.
don't use crusades as if we're evil. We were looking after
But
you.
Derek, nobody, as a Christian, let me
quoting his
explain.
own words, I'm
Yeah,
not
but
saying
let me
he
tell you
was.
something more important. As a Christian, the political doctrine of our crusades, God bless every crusader I went to. I had my lunch at St. Stephen the statue. The crusades is one of the 4 doctrines in Christian theology on violence.
What
We
sort
have
of
4
Britain
hang
do
on,
you
let me-
think
we
we're
have
going to
4
have when this,
doctrines on violence
yeah.
since our entire Christian history. One of them is the crusader position for preemptive violence. It is endemic in the Christian history.
Should every British citizen in the
and all
diaspora...
good Englishmen
Hang
who
on.
took the sword
Should every
for
Englishman
Christ.
and every British citizen in the diaspora,
Disford,
should
brothers.
they all return to England?
Which, well, I think...
No answer.
So the ones in Spain and Portugal and the Czech
But we already
Republic
answered that.
and America, should they all return to Mother England?
But we already answered the question.
Everyone who
Why
came
is
here
that
will now
doctrine?
leave, and all of the
Correct.
indigenous white English will return to this
Nation-
land, yeah?
nation
Including
states.
all the Spanish, Marbella and everything now, because they're not Spanish, are they?
How are you going to deport?
Do you see what I'm saying, Ralph?
I do. So if you look at, so let me
you
help you.
understand where I'm coming
If
from?
you're trying to
Right,
understand
thank
the
you.
nationalist movement, you should
Yeah.
ask the nationalists what we are doing.
Get the ball moving.
So
and
in
go
the
home.
nationalist movement, we
want
believe each
every
nation
Englishman
state-
home to England.
So each nationalist of all the nationalist parties movements have a common model. We believe nations should be sovereign. They should determine what their ethnic percentage group is,
Right.
and they should decide who's
Okay.
their out group. If the Spanish decide to kick out the English, the Spanish decide to kick them out.
So if
The
you want
Spanish
every
decide to keep the
Jew
English.
to go to the state of Israel, then every Englishman must return to England. Then.
No. You didn't hear my answer properly. Listen carefully. Each nation state should determine who their outgroup is allowed to be in. So if the Germans want to allow the Jewish people to remain, the Germans should allow the Jewish people to remain.
So it
Just like
becomes
the-
a national decision made by those states and those governments. Yeah?
Right. 14 words for everybody. I want Israel to do that for the Jewish people. I want Israel to be
So you're not
safe.
enforcing that every Jew has to go to Israel, and you're not enforcing every Englishman to return to Mother
We're saying
England.
each nation determines if the Hungarians don't want to live with Polish people, the Hungarians stay. And the Hungarians want to live with Vietnamese people.
That's your view. That's your view.
That's the view of all the nations.
Hold on. After that,
At least I got the view now. I know where we are.
this is 12 words.
Steve needs to
Hungarian are citizens.
Thank you, everyone.
If the Polish are citizens of Hungary, how come the Polish decide to throw them out?
Because we believe, unlike the gentleman peddling liberalism, we as nationalists believe you cannot separate ethnicity from
the core
citizenship.
value of this culture
So we
that
believe
we
an
stand
Englishman is English, like Derek, and that doesn't mean other people can't live in his land.
I'm British, proud to be English.
Okay, but let's say he was English, and he can decide who stays here in his own group.
Define citizenship based in the race, not in the.
No, not just race, ethnicity plus their choice. Self-determination. So Steve is wrong. He doesn't understand the intellectual history of many things, including nations. Right?
That's what blows us out the thing though. My Nigerian wife is Nigerian. My child is half caste. So what do? Send her back to Nigeria and keep the child here? That doesn't work, does it? Doesn't work, does it?
No one's saying that.
It doesn't work.
The question is, what's Ralph going to do with
Oh,
himself?
yeah.
And what's Ralph going to do with his own children? Because he has broken his own rule.
I'm not
Through his own existence, half Indian, half English, through his marriage, German, he is preaching
Not
his
just
own
German.
principles.
Not just German.
What
Not
is
just-
the madness? Where's
not
the
just German.
This man is
But
half
descended.
Indian, half English. His
And
wife is German.
Yeah, but not just
Should
The
we
first
do?
thing this man
Should we
said to me is I'd be happy
Should we
to
do as he says, or should
Everyone's
we do as he
excited in my
does?
presence.
That is my
I know
question.
you're all excited.
Should we do
Calm
what this man
down,
tells
children.
us, or should we do what this man has
Calm
done
down,
himself?
children. So first of all, my wife is
send him
not
back to
just
India?
German, but she's German of the Wagner gene pool. So that would trigger you even more. So
That would be
a
proud.
wonderful, Hitler's favorite composer.
And you see, this is why this man goes for Nazi
So that is a
salute.
eugenic
He has to
bearing
make up
of the
for the
best
colour of
both
his
worlds.
skin amongst his Nazi
How
mates.
racist
This
are
is
you?
why this man
This
laughs
is
and
racism.
jokes about
All
Nazi
the brown
saluting
people
to make
should
up
look at the
for
white
the colour
person.
of his skin.
All the bright
because
brown
his mates
people
are
look at the
fascists.
white
So
person.
he has to do
These
this,
racist.
he has to
Rampant.
Nazi salute
him
left,
first.
right, and
by example.
centre to be
Report him
friends
now.
with these Nazis.
Steve, I want to ask
That
Ralph a
is
very
why he
calm
does it.
question, very calm
Calm
question.
and steady. There'll be order in the house.
Why do you
Did you
like...
notice the gross
So,
hypocrisy
sorry,
of this
the
man?
gentleman for Stepney will
Yes,
right. When you do your salute,
Yes,
right,
sir.
which I've done it, and I'm Jewish, so
Have somebody got
right.
I'll hold it from him.
What is the reason why you do your salute?
I will explain that simply quickly.
Yeah.
The reason the word Nazism, like racism or hater, is a left-wing idea to suppress the truth. As a brown man standing here, me doing this is like Monty Python. Do you really believe?
Do you do that when you visit Germany?
Right?
Do you do it when you visit your wife's family in Germany?
Sweetheart.
Do you do it?
My wife is.
I'm sure they
descended
love
from the-
Monty Python.
Think
in
about it. My
Germany
wife's
too.
descended from the Wagner family.
The
Draw your own
Wagners.
conclusions.
Yes.
Draw your own conclusions, Steve.
Yeah, what do you want an exclusion? And
I know I'm not doing it for
Are
a
you
laugh.
doing it for a laugh?
No, I'm doing it because we in the right
There
are
is a theory that
we
he's
are
a plant
puncturing
of the
the
British
Overton
state
window
to draw out the
and by
racists
pushing the
into
Overton
the,
window
into the
light
bright
by
air.
refusing
There is a
the
theory that
narrative.
he's being paid to do all of this.
To
That this
so
is
let
a
me take it
joke.
easy. If I
And
wanted,
he's
if
drawing
you kept
out
saying
the racists so
and
the authorities
so you kept saying
can spot
racist,
them in the
racist,
daylight.
racist,
There is a
I
real
can either
ongoing
deny
theory of
racism,
this.
or I can rock your racism narrative.
If I call you a Nazi, you'll
But
go
I've
like
blown
this for a
it.
laugh.
Sorry, MI5.
Is that what
I
you're trying to
nearly
say to me?
Nazi-saluted
I'm
them.
doing more than that. I'm
The only
transforming the
thing
metapolitical narrative.
is young men are
Hence pushing the Overton window right.
That's it.
And these idiots who
all
are,
you have.
and these idiots who are
Apart
5,
from
10
what
years
was his
behind
job,
the
head of
curve,
PR for the BNP,
the guys who
that got
think
thrown
a
out the
Sikh man in a
BNP for
kilt
plotting
is
to
Scottish
murder Nick Griffin.
is not gonna
The
tell
only
us what we
people
all
that
know
follow
is the
him
truth.
are young, vulnerable lads. Just watch.
Yeah, they'll either
His
go
leader was investigated
We are
for plotting
legion.
to
We
murder
are the
Nick
alt-right
Griffin.
team. You cannot stop
Google
us.
it, my friends. It is all over the internet. Plotting to
And they're
murder
terrified
Nick Griffin,
and
allegedly.
scared, right? Because we are telling the truth. An Englishman is not a Scotsman,
English
bollocks.
and a Sikh with a kilt is not a Scottishman.
Did we say that though?
So he goes round Nazi saluting as a Monty Python joke. I know John Cleese did a silly walk, but I can't remember John Cleese Nazi saluting. Can anyone else?
Yes.
Oh yes,
Yes.
yes. Can you remember
Don't
this?
mention the war.
Remember this? Don't mention the
I mean,
war.
oh, he
Right?
did.
Yeah, don't mention the
He's
war.
had a very bad
Are
knock
you
on
going
the
to call
head,
me a
hasn't
Nazi?
he?
Look, I'm a
Have you had a-
Nazi.
have you had a
I'm
bad
a
knock on
Nazi
the
for
head?
saying don't mention the war. And this clown
No,
is
Hitler
looking
didn't
for
do that.
Oh,
Nazis.
he used to be so
Yeah.
polite.
He runs
He used to be
around
so
chasing
polite.
Muslims one day because they believe liberals believe in a
But
thing called
funnily enough,
Holocaust
this
theory.
man's ideology
One
is
day
very
to Muslims,
close
the
to
other
the
day to
ideology
Nazis.
of radical
One day to
Islam.
Muslims,
They
the other
hate
day to Nazis.
homosexuals. They
I got
hate
Muslims,
Jews. They've got a
Nazis.
lot in common with radical Islam.
That's why he says he actually
Any
respects
radical party
radicalized Islam.
Doesn't matter.
One day I'm a Nazi, the other day I'm an ISIS member.
Islam's right about
And I'm radical.
Islam is right
Yeah,
about women.
yeah, go on. Islam's right about women. Islam's right about Jews. Islam's right about
Is
homosexuals.
Islam wrong about women?
Look at the. I mean, you shouldn't waste your time really, but if you ever do have spare time and watch some of their live streams, just read the chat. That's the most enlightening part of it. If you read the chat, the sorts of people who are attracted to these sorts of people.
And you should read it and go, boo! I believe English
closer,
people
come
exist and they belong in England. Don't
Ralph,
fucking call me a
Ralph,
Nazi.
you've
man.
got
Well,
some
you don't think
your group.
responding to racism
Millions
is
and
important?
millions and millions of ordinary English people.
Well, you should have got it earlier then. We're not starting from the beginning.
Billions!
Right,
Can I just say, I actually missed out one page.
Read it.
Which is a bit crap. but I feel I need to go
Oh,
back.
another speech. The first one was very
Oh, I
dumb.
might have 10 more.
Oh, good Lord.
Could you explain
Good
to
Lord,
us all-
spare us.
Can you put
Now let him read the speech first.
I will.
Why you use 14?
Absolutely. The 14 words.
8-12.
The 14 words come from a white supremacist serving time in the United States
David Lane.
for murdering a Jew called David Lane.
can't keep his
The
hand
Dalai
down.
Lama supports the 14 words when I say, and here are the 14 words. We
does
must
Anders
secure the existence of Tibetan people and a future for Tibetan children.
Believe
Everyone
using
agrees.
Nazi
We must
memes.
support the existence of
pathetic.
Vietnamese people and a future for Vietnamese children.
white? So
does the
Everyone's happy.
Christchurch
But when I
shooter.
say we must secure the existence of English people and a future for English children, you all go
No,
Nazi.
it's called white.
Hello.
Doing it
White. How you guys?
Nazi friend.
We must
Hashtag
secure
12
we must
words.
secure the existence. There we go. We must. I like that.
People
I
is
like
what
that.
it says.
We must
See what I meant?
secure.
See what I
White.
meant?
There's your colour issue.
Allow me.
always
Your
allow
colour
me.
issue,
Allow
Ralph,
me.
is
May I?
going.
May I?
Your
May
colour
I?
issue.
I heard
The
you.
word is white.
May I?
It's a colour issue.
May I respond? We must secure the existence of black people and a future for black children.
And what about
we
mixed
must
race
secure
people?
the existence
what
of
about
mixed race people
about
and
Indians?
a future for mixed race children.
Indians?
And we must secure the existence
Where
of white
should
people
mixed race
and a
people
future
go?
for white children.
Where
And you're good now.
First on the vote! First on the
We
vote!
must secure the existence of even Sikh people.
They don't realise what massive proportion of Britain are now mixed race.
Unless we all
Where
rise
are
up
those people going to be sent when these idiots
rise up
get
from
in
within
power
these
like
hours.
that's ever going to happen?
They're not registered with the Electoral Commission yet, it was a lie!
This country is one of the least racist countries on this planet, which is why the likes of him will never get to power. They will never get into power.
Excuse me, everyone.
Influence young
Ralph
people
purposely
in the wrong
took
direction.
Vulnerable,
Right.
gullible.
You're 15
Wrong! I left the white for last. I left the best for
He
last.
didn't want to be
How about
seen
that?
as a white supremacist
Even
state.
Derek's fault.
Anyway, let me give you the missing page.
The 14
Like the
is a
missing
white
page.
supremacist.
Whether, and
Yes.
this is going
And
to
he
trigger some
purposely didn't
people.
say the word white.
Whether Tommy Robinson, whether Donald Trump, whether Brexit, none of these movements are based on ethno-nationalism. None of those movements are based on racism. Those movements, in my view, are all based on one thing, and that is patriotism.
You put yourself into a trap.
The love, the respect, and the
Love,
alliance
respect,
with your
la,
country.
He should have used white.
And patriotism
The word is white in
is
that.
something that I think is very important, and something that will will always see beyond colour. Patriotism is bigger than the density of melanin in your skin. Is bigger than where 5% of your DNA came from millennia ago.
You're not going to be honest with the actual facts.
Unfortunately, those on the left have tried to make the word patriotism a dirty word in this country, a xenophobic word, a racist word. I hold on to you. Yes, of course. They have sought to turn the Union Jack, the St. George's flag, into negative symbols of racism. You show me one other country on this planet where that has happened. Every single other country on this planet flies its flag with pride. They fly the flag from every national building, from every public building, from the schools. The children are taught in school that it's good and principled to be patriotic. Only in this country has the left turned it, tried to turn it into a dirty, negative word. Why do they do this?
Can Rod sing
Is it imperial guilt? Are they driving a Marxist agenda?
Here's a test.
Are they driving a Marxist
sing
agenda
Jerusalem?
of a globe without borders?
Can he
Because
sing
that
Jerusalem?
will never exist.
Can he sing Jerusalem? Can he sing Jerusalem?
Patriotism is
Do you know what
not about
Jerusalem is,
hating
my guy?
others.
Do you
It's
know
about
what Jerusalem is?
identity,
My guy.
culture,
Can you
shared
sing
customs
Jerusalem?
and values.
Huh?
It's
Can he
about the
sing
way our
Jerusalem?
society
Can he
is
go-
developed
can he sing
as
Jerusalem?
an extended family
He
that
can't.
is bound together in
What can I
unity.
say, mate?
And these
The one
clowns
behind
will
you.
never
Did she
break
sing
that
Jerusalem?
unity. That was page 5.
They got no pay. I shall not cease from mental fight, nor shall my sword sleep in my hand, till we have built Jerusalem in England's green and prison land.
14 words and the word white was not meant to be on the page.
I disavow your politics. I disagree
Because I am concerned about people like yourself.
Because
you
see, died fighting Nazis, real Nazis, real fucking Nazis.
Mine too.
Sorry, back up again. Damn good point. Damn good point. Our forefathers, our grandfathers,
My grandfather!
fought fascists
I
like
disavow
this.
myself
They
from you!
fought
I
and
rebuke
died
you!
fighting fascists like this. How dare he claim Britishness
How dare
when
Greta
our
Thunberg
grandfathers
Greta
died
Thunberg
fighting fascism of this name, hating fascists who hated Jewish
are the
people,
fascists?
who hated gay people.
Are there any
We
Nazis?
fought
Are
to
we
the
finding any
death
fascists?
against those fascists.
Where's
How
William?
dare they claim
How
for
dare,
one
says
second
Greta.
to
How
stand
dare,
for
says
Britain.
Greta. How dare, says Greta.
You have no support! Nobody supports you!
I'm not looking for support.
This man argues for National Socialism. This man argues for every principle that Hitler stood for. That our forefathers fought against.
Everyone look up Godwin's law on the internet. When you don't have an argument, you're going to say not.
What about Twat's law?
Oh, look it up, you won't find it.
That's not a law.
Big difference. The truth is.
So you keep on saying that you've got youngsters in your midst that are more radical than us, than them. How young are they? So young, how young?
Listen to this delusion. Listen to this delusion. They've got hundreds and thousands of fans and members. They're going to get into power. In 10 years. This man thinks in 10 years he will be in government.
He's trying to answer the question for
Do
me.
you see that the problem with the
Notice how
brain?
he won't let
I don't
anyone
want to
else. Notice how he won't let people answer
And
the
again,
question.
if you've got spare time,
He
look
doesn't
online.
He's
at
so
the Klan.
scared of us.
Look at the
He's
crack
so
addicts.
scared. He's
Look at the
terrified of nationalism. He's terrified of the nationalist movement because the nationalist movement.
Vile
is true.
homophobia.
The vile
that his fan base
homophobia.
talks about.
Your metrosexual interests will not
He
defend
calls
the
me a
nation.
metrosexual.
How does
homosexuality
homosexuality help us save England? How does
a
homosexuality
modern
help
urban
provide
man
England?
into fashion
I
and
want you to
shopping.
answer that question. How does
I
your
don't know
support
how much you
for
know about me.
homosexuality help defending?
So how many
Let me answer your
youngsters?
question.
How many youngsters
Allow
have
me.
you got
Allow me
in
to
your
answer.
movement?
Allow me to
That's the
answer.
result of a
So
mixed
look,
race
notice how you can't
relationship.
stop
This
talking.
man's had children
Notice how
in a
you
mixed race relationship.
commenting
This man's chosen
scared
to
take
live
turns.
in East
He's
London,
scared.
in one of the most
We've used the
diverse
fact that he's
areas
scared.
of London.
We've used
It's
the
not
fact
all
that he's
fitting
scared
together,
in
is
our
it?
in
Which
our.
is why I do go back to the theory. Is this man a plant? Is this a comedy?
No, he's not a plant, he's a vegetable! He's a vegetable, he's not a plant!
the right wing.
He's a samosa! He's a samosa!
Plant of the
He's a
British state.
pakora! Or a gladman! Whatever
I don't think this is
Your
fair.
question was a good
There's something
question.
not right about
Your
it.
question was
No,
a
no,
good
let's
question.
answer this question because
But
the thing
he
is,
won't
one
let
thing
you.
I'm
I've got the
concerned
question.
about.
I've got the
I
question.
need to repeat it so Steve can know as well and everybody else.
He's just got-
I've met some of your younger kind of followers. One of the individuals on 18, very bright young man.
Yeah, Jacob, yeah.
Very,
What's the
very.
question?
And the point is, yeah, he's still not over to your side, in my opinion.
Correct.
But what you lot are saying is that you have got because I heard you lot saying
pipeline.
online that you have a lot
has
of
a
young
pipeline.
people on your
Pipeline.
side
A pipeline.
that are more radical
And the
than
gas
you.
chamber
Correct.
will be at the end of
And
the
there's a
pipeline.
danger you're going to destroy their future!
Let me answer.
You're going to destroy their future if you
Let me
actually-
answer. The
leader- prison or death.
Can we answer the
Just
question?
wash the hand.
Can we
You
answer
can't
the
control
question,
it.
or with the diversity stream not
not
going to
this-
take turn?
It's
So
because
the
he's
leader
brown,
of
by
our
the way.
movement.
He's like this in
The
his
leader-
making up things up. White fascist friends.
Notice how you don't have answers. They come for debate, but they won't shut
let
up.
him talk.
They come for debate, ask questions, won't answer. We will see.
And what
who's
do you
gonna
do on your live streams,
Yeah,
you
can I
clown?
answer your question?
What do you do on your
Can I
live
answer your
streams?
question?
Everybody out on
You
your
type them out. You love them. You deliver
They
That's
say-
the far right of snowflakes. I got timed out 30 times in around 5 minutes on
They
4
ask a
different accounts.
question and they
Shariah
can't take the
chat.
answer. The leader of our movement, of the largest side of the generation,
Not the one who was investigated for plotting to murder Nick
Notice how he
Griffin. That
won't.
one.
Notice how he won't. The
one who also doesn't look very English, might I
Notice how
add.
he's scared. So the leader.
No, because you're a
No,
clown
but
and
you
you're a
can't
hypocrite.
answer. So
You're a
the
clown
leader
and you're
of
a
our-
hypocrite.
The leader of our
You're a
movement.
pseudo-scientific
Yeah,
clown.
yeah,
and
yeah.
you're a leader.
Notice how he
And
won't
this
let-
is the real world.
Notice how
You
the
can't
liberals.
block me out here.
I'm not
This
trying
is the
to
real
block you. I
world.
won't block you. I will just demonstrate how you won't let the answer, and I will
God
win.
bless Britain,
Did
By
you?
demonstrating
Don't get
that.
triggered.
On trigger, we would demonstrate how you won't listen.
Multicultural
We, is that the royal?
Yes, we, the entire movement. So to
What
answer
do you think
Raj's
about
question,
about
to answer Raj's question,
German Queen
notice
and her
Raj
Greek
is-
husband?
notice
by
how
the way?
Raj knows how to wait and take turns, and you don't. So to answer Raj's question,
Raj.
our largest youth movement, We call them the Zoomers. Led
How
by
many? How many?
Nick
Come on,
Fuentes.
give us a number.
Nick Fuentes and the America First movement.
Oh, not in
and
Britain.
Groypers.
Not in Britain.
No, they're more Americans than Brits.
Britain are too sensible, aren't we?
So the leader of
We're
our
too
movement is
sensible
Nick
here.
Fuentes and millions of supporters from the age of 13, 14.
history here with
getting
military
ready
record.
for
I'm
the
allowed to
war.
stay,
Let
apparently.
me say something. Anyone going with
Thank
them
you.
here,
Hail Nick Fuentes.
any youngsters
Hail
going towards him,
Fuentes.
they'll either be dead or in prison. They'll either be dead or in prison. Anyone following these guys will either be dead or in prison. Like Anjem Chowdhury followers, they are either dead or in prison. Same with these guys.
Go to?
To the war room.
Is the right hand side of your body going to go to India and the left hand side?
Cabinet war room.
Where are you going to go?
Cabinet war room.
What he's advocating can only end badly. What he's advocating can only end
And I'll
badly.
tell you why.
For
It's
the
the
ones who were
supporters
not
he's got, Holocaust denial, vicious outright anti-Semitism,
Mark
going back to 1933.
We all know what
88,
Holocaust
Heil
denial is
Hitler
like.
in their
Stick in
chat
their
rooms.
heads.
Heil Hitler is what
And
they
that
use
can
in their
only
chat
end
rooms.
one way,
So with
badly.
great respect, it is a Nazi
Britain will never
ideology, whether
fall
you
for
like
it,
it
so
or
the
not.
risk is
You
high.
may not be, but it is a Nazi ideology.
That's a left-wing
You
argument.
may not be yourself.
That's a
but
left-wing
it is
You talk
argument.
to a war. You talk to a war.
Criticising
You don't know what you're
Holocaust
talking
deniers
about with
is a
war.
England
left-wing
belongs to
argument.
the English.
A war against the white.
You're talking
You
about
fight us,
war.
if you fight us on the principle.
Who's that? Indians? Who are you talking about? Us.
Every English
Not the Indians. Not the Indians.
Not
Why are you talking about the English?
Because this is
Otherwise,
You like something?
So who's going to fight this war and how does it start?
Mark Collett is going to, and what's her name? Dion Moller.
Obviously,
She's
you're
going to
so
fight it in
scared
her
about
bedroom in
us.
Yes,
Denmark.
I am scared
You're
of a
terrified
bloody
of
war, you
us.
idiot.
You're scared
Yes,
of the
I am
truth.
bloody scared of a war.
You are
Both
right
of my
to be
parents
scared.
went through a bloody
doesn't
war, you
understand that.
Not
clown.
my granddad.
You bloody idiot.
Not my granddad.
It's a Channel
fought
5
Germany.
comedy.
Not
Don't take
my
it seriously.
granddad was against.
No, but it's a serious thing in the sense that
But
he,
it's a Channel
he
5
could,
comedy.
but he
I'm
could-
convinced
This is
Bolden.
like,
Yeah,
everyone who watches the
Channel
National
5
Right
is
networks,
comedy.
you can see how the
Viewers.
liberals and Simnads can't even argue against
Is
us.
it Channel
To all
5?
the
Is
dissident
it Channel
right,
5 you're
that will
working
come
on?
over. You see that none of these Simnads
Is
have
it Channel
an
5
argument.
or MI5?
None of them can't even
Which
control
one
their
is
voice.
it?
They
Channel
will
5
not be able
or
to control
MI5?
us.
Which one are
That's
you
why
working
you
on?
can't
Hold
stop
on.
us, right?
Today's a little bit rowdy, but in the future we will pick a topic.
You can't do it
will-
today.
hold on, hold on,
You'll
hold
do it
on.
even
We
worse
will pick a
tomorrow.
topic in the
To
future.
be honest,
Can't do it today.
I wouldn't give them
You've been
options.
destroyed.
I really
The
wouldn't give
man
them
destroyed
standing
by
on the
your
white
divinity.
chair.
You've been destroyed by your
The only bit that you've been destroyed is when I asked you the question about the 14, you missed out the bit white for the
Funny
supremacist
that,
bit.
isn't it?
Purposely didn't.
They always make a little try to hide the white
And that was
supremacy because they know that will hang them out to dry.
That's why I was
Another reason why they've got a half Indian guy being the main spokesman.
Yeah, I'm a
They
biological
can't
weapon.
call us white supremacist fascists if we put up the half Indian.
Clearly not.
And
You
get
haven't
him
stopped.
to salute every so often.
Clearly not, because you won't
wanna
stop
stick your
saying
neck out, that's
Nazi. When you lose an argument,
What would
say
you prefer?
Nazi.
Fascist?
You're talking
What
of
would
a
you
war.
prefer?
So what's your views on Hitler then?
You're talking of an
Hitler's-
ethnic war. That's what you're talking
He's
about.
He wants
screaming
hate
about
crime.
war.
So
you said
No
war.
one is saying
What is
war.
your views
Your
on national
word.
Man in the
socialism?
hat.
I'm using
What's your
your
views?
word. You
What's
said
your views
war.
on National
I
Socialism
didn't
and
mention
Hitler?
war until you said
Some
war.
aspects I like, some aspects I don't.
You're being uncovered. Ralph. I don't know what you're saying.
What's the bit? What's the bit? that
Bring
you
up
dislike?
subjects,
Well,
then you
that's the
deny
thing.
it.
Me and Rolf, we
don't know how to
discourage
take turns.
people from
Oh, bring
being
your own
obsessed
ladder
with the
next
Jews.
time.
We tell them the facts that Jews are not
You
responsible
do.
for
Maybe
nearly
Mark
about
will come. Oh
30
no,
years
if you're
ago.
triggered.
So
You know damn
can't
well.
help that
Mark
they're in
will
our
either go
streets
out in a
and,
hissy
you know,
fit or he'll
they're
end up
So
being
you're not one of those guys that says that the Jews made my chips go cold. You're not one of those guys that says the Jews are responsible for everything, including my chips getting cold.
He's your generalist.
Okay, cool.
They
We
have
don't
generals.
like the people that are constantly.
Who are you, the sergeant
You
major?
can't even get by me, and you want to talk to my main top boy.
we need something.
Get by
you're
me.
his buffoon.
Get by me. You haven't got by me. I've heard no
You haven't got
argumentation.
by you.
I mean, I
Are
remain
you bisexual? What are you talking about?
I'm
Yeah,
your
we easy.
bisexual metrosexual.
be easier for you.
Metrosexual. I won't even purge.
Yeah, to stand in. Oh yeah.
Is the answer to some questions, which I respect.
But no one manages. This is a fair pit, so it's not
Of
really.
course, a fair pit, but 14 are not telling me that white supremacy there is ridiculous.
But Ian, I've answered
You're
you 3
denying
times.
your
And I
own
can't even
statement.
fall as a mediator because it's the 3rd time. I'll try the 4th time to give you the same answer.
Fascist.
I went for ethnicity first,
And then
you
you were
said
going
colour,
for the other
and I
one.
went for all the
I
races,
did
and then
hear
I
that.
left white,
Secure
blonde,
existence existence for humans.
No, I left white to the last with a funny.
Well, that's fair, and it's up to the people to decide when they
You
see
ignored the
it.
entire answer.
It's up to the people to decide if they believe that.
These are not our voter base.
We're an interesting.
But you can't always go in a self-congratulatory base if you're trying to build your movement.
You must secure existence for red-haired people.
Otherwise,
If we are going to defend red squirrels, which we're doing, we're bringing red squirrels back from extinction.
God bless and heal the red squirrels. It's healing red squirrels and Nazi.
Yeah, nothing against
Are there Nazi squirrels?
nothing against grey squirrels. There's just too fucking many of
Are the
them.
Nazi squirrels? Sorry,
You make your point, and it's up to the people to decide what they think.
correct. And this is not. We are only using this for
I
reflection
don't
against
think you can build a movement by just having everyone that self-congratulates yourself. You need, otherwise it's like going to the Tory party conference or the Labour party
people
conference.
Supporting his idea about war. You're supporting his idea about war. Is that
I'm against him. I'm totally against him.
So what's this war you're talking
I'm
about?
arguing with him. He thinks I'm with him. Anyway, the 150 years of Jewish history in my family has secured me a visa for the United Nations.
Are you allowed to stay, are you?
I'm allowed to stay. Hang on a minute. Wait a minute.
Britain comes out as the most.
British bad.
Oh, look.
Oh no.
Run,
Devilman! Run, Devilman!
Run. British passport. 150 years.
Look at him,
And here is my British passport. Thank you. I travel the world on my British passport, and I love my country, and I love my multi-ethnic friends here as well.
So let's
Thank
wrap up here. The thing is that
Steve, well done, mate.
we've got to wrap up because Raj has got to go.
Well done.
I don't know. I'm still waiting for a little bit. So
Thank you,
look,
guys.
He may look like a bit of a joke here, Ralpesh here, but the thing is that if he radicalises one kid, who's a 15, 16-year-old, and that's what they're trying to do, those individuals are going to ruin their lives. The same way that Anjem Choudhury radicalises young guys here, and then they ruin their lives. There's only going to have two routes for these guys. Either they'll be in prison or they'll be dead. Yeah, and this is why this guy here, although you might see him as a bit of a joke, that he's a brown guy propagating white supremacy, his particular kind of ideology can gain kind of traction with younger people who are very disillusioned and maybe even vulnerable to some states. Yeah. Now, when it comes to this particular movement that Steve and myself and others have set up, including Simon and whoever else wants to join, if you're a civic nationalist, we'll talk a bit more about what the difference is between a civic nationalist and an ethno-nationalist, and why we need to kind of, in my opinion, this has probably been one of the best things to happen to the movement. A lot of people like say, oh, it's a terrible thing. No, I love it. What it has done is allowed me to now and others to be saying, okay, this is what we've been accused of for X, Y, Z months or years. And this is what we actually are against. We're against these racists and these ethno-national and these white supremacists, but we are pro-UK. When it comes to being pro-UK, it doesn't mean you have to agree with all the past. I condemn the colonial history of India. I condemn the slavery of Africans into Jamaica. I condemn a lot. But when it comes to being in this land, we've got to work together in order to make the UK prosperous. And when it's prosperous and safe and the social cohesion is there, your descendants will benefit from that. Right now, we have people in the UK that, and I won't name too many names because he'll put the thing on another channel, that are actively in the UK trying to disrupt social cohesion and making people feel there's only one way. You have to hate the UK if you disagree with their past. I disagree with colonialism, but I'm still pro-UK moving forward.
But if you're going to talk like that, you've also got to talk about generation identity.
Yeah,
turning up at Tommy Robinson.
This is
talking about Martin Selner.
Yeah, this is where
and some of his ideas.
Yeah, so
you've got to actually denounce some of that as well.
Yeah, and we will. The thing is,
you can't just sort of send back.
Yeah, I know. We're just a long period of time. Today we're just here for a bit. So yeah, there are certain things here that have happened over the last couple of years that we need to start looking retrospectively back and saying, okay, maybe that was a mistake within the movement. Yeah, and the best thing to do that is to be honest and say, okay, it probably was a mistake in my opinion. And that's the way to move forwards, because I think at the moment, we have a good opportunity now to push forward and show what we're really about And that also means kind of maybe even critiquing some of our past actions in terms of where we made mistakes. So hopefully people don't get too upset when we start critiquing certain things. I believe the best way to make someone grow is to critique them.
The truth. We don't need Valpesh dividing the blacks, the gays and the Jews on top of the Islamic.
But you've got to look honestly at yourself as well. You've got to look honestly at yourself. You've got to look at Martin Sellner. You've got to look at some of the people in Generation Identity that have got shocking histories. Shocking histories. And they were peppered all around Tommy Robinson. You've got to
agree with that.
Denounce that.
Yeah, we agree with that.
You've got to be honest with yourself.
Yeah, the thing is, people are going to say, why am I talking to Ralph? Because he said some of the most vile stuff against my mother. And I don't want to repeat it. Yeah, the most things. But then again, other people have said disgusting stuff against my mother all the time. My mother doesn't agree with my views, so she's always getting attacked because of what I'm doing, and there's not much I can do about it because I'm still going to talk. But I am going to, in a way, challenge him, even though I haven't spoken to him for 6 months. I'm not going to ignore him from now on. I will challenge him when he's saying something.
You're going to be a very busy person.
Yeah, I've got the jihadis on my back and now the far right. And how many more issues do I need? Hopefully the vegans don't go against me because I'm going to become vegan soon, but I'm not there yet. So yeah, I think Steve. So big up to Steve, leading the charge. Hence why he's in charge, because he was the first person to do it. Yeah, in charge of Raj. But we are going to have different divisions though. We'll have Simon looking after the LGBTQ part. We'll have Black Van Man under the black division. Let's run a Chinese person. We'll get every part of the...
You're saying bring back Tan?
Yeah, bring back... No, I don't know about Tan.
Have you seen he's still after Lucy?
I didn't speak this morning at all.
Really?
Yeah, let's forget about Tan. Let's try and think that ever happened, that whole situation. And let's rewrite history if we can. Anyway, I'm still going to be around Sweet Corner. I can't stay for long, so I think we should wrap up. You got anything else you want to wrap up on? He run, the devil man run. This is how you deal with him.
Thank you for giving up the time.
Big up.
I just want to say thank you for giving up the time. I really appreciate it, man.
Big up, man. Are you live or are you thinking?
Live, yeah. Live,
oh, big up to the live, because the live is
33 people in the chat.
Wow. Yeah, how do things going?
A lot of people heard you lot's message. Big up.
Well, the thing is that he's actually, on the other day, look, they are promoting what you call kind of like mass deportation of people by violence. There's no other way to do it. When you're saying you're going to repatriate yourself, you're not going to be able to get me out of the country without shooting me in the head. You understand? So most people are going to fight you for now.
And are you subcontracting to G4S? Who's going to carry out these repatriations?
But I am going to say so. I will be deporting people. Ralph, Raspect, a couple of these jihadis, Anjum Chowdhury. I won't just deport them. I'll roll up in a tank. Yeah. Point the turret to the door and say, get out. That's a joke though, that's a joke. And when I say, look, when you're deporting people, it's not based on your religion or whatever. It's going to be whether you're a threat to the UK. And this guy's a threat to the UK.
That sounds like good words there, Raj.
Yeah, big. How you doing, man?
I'm alright, man. Good, man.
Who's in the chat? Anyone I know?
No, I've got loads of people in the chat. 300 people in the chat. Most people like it. Most people like it.
What's Pakistani saying?
Big up everyone in the chat. Back again.
Che abbandamento pazzo sai cosa significa che abbandamento pazzo è
really busy today. Big up everybody in the chat. Thank you for tuning in. Really appreciate it. Ali Dow around there.
If I believe in God, I can't just say, okay, God just made me. No reason, he just made me. So I said, okay, there must be a reason.
And if as a tulip, oppression is defined. As for example, the Zionists now goes to Germany and they start killing babies, German babies.
Hey, big up Black Van Man, love and respect to you. Get rid of the Nazis, get rid of the racism, get rid of all the haters, man. Keep it real. Glenn Safa, happy birthday.
If someone came,
What does it do with this?
what does it do with this? He believes it's ordained by God.
What do? You stick the medication into a lump of meat. You put the meat on a skewer.
Just mooching about, seeing what we can see.
Who's singer?
X Factor next year.
Forever he's alive in them. He's alive. Jesus is alive. My Jesus is alive. Forever he's alive in them. He's alive. Jesus is alive. Jesus is alive. Forever he's alive. Amen. He's alive. Jesus is alive. Jesus is alive. Forever he's alive. Amen. He will save you. He will save you. Jesus, he will save you from sin. He will save you from sin. He will save you. Jesus, he will save you. Jesus will save you from sin. He will save you. He's alive. Jesus is alive. Jesus is alive. Forever he's alive. Amen. He's alive. Jesus is alive. Jesus is alive. Forever he's alive. Amen. He's alive. Jesus is alive.
One more time.
Jesus is alive. Forever is alive. Amen. He will save you. Jesus, he will save you. Jesus, he will save you. Save you from your sins. Yes, he will. He's alive.
So God is one.
Jesus is alive.
So that one God, is that one God Jesus? Yes or no?
Unless God is one,
He's alive.
He will come out things that won't save you on the day.
Look, we as a people, sorry, no. This is a very surprise. The lady doesn't want to be called. We as a people,
Come back and talk to him after.
Yeah. Well done. The ones that have out.
Check this out. That's what I want to do. Our problem.
You might kill some of the good cells.
I know he's checking it.
A criteria. For example, we
paper boy is someone who...
let me talk. So now when we see
Get Samuel, get Samuel, because he's lying and get the Bible.
He's gonna
Samuel.
get it. Now, when we see the story of the flood, the whole in Islam is the region, in the Bible it was the world. So everyone was wiped out. Why? Because God was so angry, he decided to cast his judgment and kill everyone. So if he doesn't have a problem with children dying in the flood, then he shouldn't have a problem. God decrees his justice. It doesn't matter if it's a flood or by the sword. It's God's judgment. So he's trying to use an atheist argument to try and refute the Christian position. But that's why I said let us use our intellect and let us use a criteria, because no one would say when God wiped out Sodom and Gomorrah or people with the flood, they will have a problem with it. Even atheists.
So you're finished, or you're going to go
Let me finish my point.
It's not saying no church here.
Let me finish my point.
Even you don't the point.
Let me finish.
Okay, go on.
Because what he tries to do is use an atheist argument. If I went to an atheist, they will say, why does God let children die of cancer? That is injustice. So everyone can take a moral compass, but the whole point is when God decrees something,
let it speak, because
it doesn't matter the method.
15. No, 15. 115 here. Okay. Wait. I'll let you speak. Now you know the problem with him. The problem with him, this man is a liar. He's a liar. You know why? Not me saying that. The Bible exposes him as a liar.
Read it.
Okay? The Bible tell you why. Yeah, and I know the other verse. The other verse has to do with that time, not Samuel time. Samuel time there was no Israel there. There was no Jacob there. The reason something happened before. Now listen to this, ladies and gentlemen. By the way, that's not the Quran. I'm sorry if you're gonna hear something which is gonna make you very sad and upset. That's not the Quran. All right? Wait. Samuel also said to Saul, "The Lord sent me to anoint you to this is some old English, okay, to be king over his people, over Israel. Now therefore, hear the voice of the word of the Lord. Thus says the Lord host, I remember that which Malek did to Israel. Malek did to Israel. Israel is Jacob, okay? This is something which happened 100 years before. So now what God's gonna do? Let us see what God's commandments. Do you remember? Yes, if God says something, but God will not order oppression. God will not tell me to go kill children. You know, mental institutions are doing that. By the way. That's not the Quran, that's the Bible, by the way. Okay, wait.
Read the Bible.
Read the Bible.
He can't argue with the Quran in his hand.
That's my
There's
rule.
no power.
Go on.
No, I know. But he's a Muslim.
Continue.
Anyway, so my point here is, yes, I agree. Based upon foreknowledge, God can punish someone because he's going to grow up as an evil man. Yes, without any doubt. But the point here is not because these children, they're going to grow up as an evil, wicked person. No. Because something happened 400 years ago. That's why God said, go kill them and slaughter them alive. Let's read. Thus says the Lord of hosts, I remember that which Malek did to Israel, how he laid the wait for him in the way when he came up from Egypt. Wait, what? Egypt, this never happened in Samuel time. This happened way before. When Malek tried to prevent Jacob when he's coming up from Egypt, 400 years before. So what is the solution of God? Now go and smite Malek and utterly destroy all that they have, and spare them no mercy, but slay both men and women, slaughter them alive. Brothers, I want everyone in our channel to put a baby's picture and go slaughter this baby, because why? Something happened 400 years ago. You know, next week come with a burqa, niqab, wallahi, and but slay men and women, infants and suckling, ox and sheep. Hold a minute. What ox and the sheep has to do with what happened to what Amalekite did? The ox and the sheep are maybe. You're interrupting. Wait. That's what you believe. I never said that.
You believe in killing lizards.
Wait.
You are a hypocrite. You are a hypocrite. You are a hypocrite.
Wait.
You are a hypocrite.
You know,
you are a hypocrite.
Can I speak? Well,
you believe in killing lizards.
Paper boy is like someone who's drowning.
You believe in killing lizards. Even
in
today.
You're killing now. Okay,
finish.
I know he's hurting.
Finish.
You know his way. You know, paper boy is like someone who's drowning. You know when you're drowning, you're so desperate. Even if you see Fred, you will try to hold it. Even you know Fred will not help you. That's what he's doing now. He tried to do anything to save himself from this embarrassment. So okay, the donkeys. What the donkeys did? Maybe because of sins.
He complains about donkeys. Explain about the lizard.
Wait. Okay, the lizard is a good one. The lizard, Prophet Muhammad said the lizard is an evil creature. It's not about him. It's not about him. Wait. No, that's not our point. That's not our point.
You believe it? Okay, we have one person. What about everyone else?
Wait.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Wait. No, paper boy, you missing the point.
Yes.
The point here is.
Why is the lizard evil?
No, before that. The point here is.
Explain why the lizard is evil.
If you allow me to finish now. The point here is that we have justification for trying to kill a lizard, but you never
explain about the lizard.
No, wait.
Explain. Because he's trying to mock about the donkey. So I'm saying explain about the lizard.
No, allow me to finish.
Explain about the lizard.
No. Can you tell him to stop heckling?
Yeah.
Stop heckling. Because I know this tactic. Try to put pressure for me to forget. I'm not going to forget.
No. We're going to address everything.
Now.
Because Shanti likes to run,
Wait. I'm giving you time. Now the reason the donkey's been killed, not because God said they are evil. You believe it's okay to slaughter the donkeys alive for something they haven't done. So how dare you try to speak against us for killing something we believe because
why is the lizard
no,
evil?
Wait, before you change subject. Wait. Bro, if this donkey keeps talking, I'm gonna walk away. No, on a condition. If you're gonna keep talking, I'm gonna walk away.
Okay, go on, explain.
No. It's one of my friends heckling now.
Go on.
Have you noticed every time I speak to his heckler?
Yeah, he's waiting for your
If he
answer.
speaks, no, I answered already. I answered that.
Why- I asked why the list is evil.
First of all, you lied against the Bible. Before we go to any subject, you said the reason said to kill the babies and the donkeys, not because donkeys are evil. So these Christians, they have, wallahi, these guys, yeah. Excuse me, let me speak. You know, according to Paul, we should shave off your hair. According to Paul, according to Paul, you should not be speaking for the man. You should tell that Paul. Your Bible says that. Your Bible says shave it off. I believe that. You should believe Paul. Are you Christian, by the way? Are you Christian? You're Christian. You're Christian. Go on.
The image of the living God.
No, that's a lie. The Bible doesn't say that. Don't agree with her. You're a liar. Excuse me, are you going to shout? This woman clearly she never studied in her life. She said, according to the Bible, it's not true.
I am made in the image of the living God. I am not inferior to you because you're a man. I'm equal to you. Okay? And he who's from above is above all. I'm above you. You're beneath me. You're earthly. And you're speaking in earthly form.
Evil. Look at it. This is what he defines it.
It looks horrible anyway. It looks horrible.
Is that evil?
It's harmful. It's harmful.
Is that evil? Why is it? Tell us why it's evil. Come on, tell us why this is evil.
First of all,
yes.
No, first of all,
yes.
Allah and the Prophet Muhammad yes. They never tell me, wait, no, because he lied, okay? Get the infants. Allah and the Prophet Muhammad yes. So my man here,
that's why the lizard
wait. So you care more, no, wait.
You were talking about the donkey.
Wait, let me see. You care about the lizard or about the infants?
Tell us about
No, answer my question.
Answer my question. Because you all try to mock and say even a donkey. So I'm asking you, why is a lizard evil?
I will tell you, but before...
No, tell us.
No.
I've answered many of your questions. Tell us.
Wait.
Tell us why the donkey. Tell us why the lizard is evil.
No. He wants me to divert. I'm not going to divert. I will speak.
Answer. Because what he does, when you answer him, he runs away. So I'm going to pin him down before he runs away.
Pin me down for what?
Why is the lizard evil?
What's our subject?
Why is the lizard evil? No. Because what happens is, everyone knows as soon as he answers Shamsi, he runs away. So he's going to answer my questions before he runs away. I never run away. So that's why I'm going to get him to answer first.
What was our subject?
What was it?
Look, he forgets.
Yeah.
Is it okay to kill? Is it okay, brothers and sisters?
Al-Qadir killed a young boy.
Okay.
So you have a problem with that too?
No, it's not different. Liar.
Yes, he was. Yes, he was.
Show me. Wait.
Al-Jalalain said he had not reached puberty.
You're a liar.
Al-Jalalain said he had not even reached puberty.
Wait. Is it Prophet Muhammad?
No.
Look, silence. Kadab.
But he went to Ibn Kathir. Is Ibn Kathir Prophet Muhammad?
No, I can reject him as well.
Alright then.
But you
so now
him.
picking and choosing. This is what they do. Pick and choose their scholars.
You use him.
Pick and choose their scholars. Now tell us about the lizard. Tell us
You
about
use
the
him. You use
Tell us about the lizard. Tell us about the lizard.
Would you slaughter this alive?
Tell us about the lizard.
Answer. Would you slaughter this alive? Would you slaughter him alive? Would you slaughter him alive? Would you slaughter him alive?
It's easy to refute.
Would you slaughter him alive? Would you slaughter him alive?
Why are the lizards
Look how this says.
Why are the lizards
Exactly what I said. Exactly
You know why? Because
you tell us. Wait.
We are just shouting. Calm down. Let me calm down as well.
So now,
no. Wait. Our subject was what? It's about. Wait.
But address my question because that's what he's going to do. Run away.
Wait. Our subject. You know what it was about? If you remember, our subject is about. God gave us what? Senses and the tools for us to utilize.
My senses wasn't to kill a lizard, but
wait. But you said because it's infants. Wait. Look. He says it's time to kill infants, but not lizard. Which one is worse? Which one is worse? Which one is worse? Which one is worse? Yes, which one is worse?
Now there's a difference.
No, which one is worse?
Do you want me to answer?
Yes, answer please.
Now there's a difference. In 2020.
No, I didn't ask you that. Which one is worse?
Let me answer. Let me answer.
Is it killing
Let
infants or
me
lizard?
answer. Let me answer. Let me answer.
Infants
You
or
see,
lizard?
he doesn't.
Say again.
He said, I have mercy on whom I have mercy.
Who?
Now,
But it's like infants.
in 2020,
infants.
there's no requirement for a Christian to kill a child. But in 2020, a Muslim still has to kill a lizard. True or false? True or false? True or false? Go on, answer.
You see clearly how many.
You see?
Listen to me. Wait. My question was still clearly. Which one is worse, killing an infant or a lizard? Answer.
Now,
Answer!
running away. That's why I told you. That's why he doesn't want to answer.
Which one is worse? Which one is worse? Which one is worse? Kill the child. He answered. Kill what?
Everyone has seen. You see, he runs away. Run away. You see, run away. You see, he can never answer questions. What he wants to do, he does the same thing every week. As soon as you say, give it a straight answer, he'll say, Galas, and he'll run away. So what I wanted to do is expose him on his hypocrisy. In the Quran, we see a young boy being killed. We see in Islam, in 2020, it is commanded for Muslims to kill lizards. So how can you talk about something that was instructed 2,000 years ago for a one-off, but you still have to do it to today? This is why I wanted to expose his hypocrisy. But that's why he just asked that question and runs away. Because he cannot have a sincere conversation. He always just asks that one thing and run away. That's why you have to pin him down before you answer. That's why I was waiting. No, I don't run away from debates, ever. I'll answer every single question, but clearly...
I just want to ask, like, what's the purpose? How do you benefit Speakers Corner as a community?
Well, it depends on who you have a conversation with.
Having a conversation with you.
So if you're having a conversation with me, then it would be an engaging dialogue where we can both learn from different viewpoints. And if you have questions, let's say for example, I can talk about the Christian perspective, I can answer things about that, and we can then have a dialogue on any discussion, whether it's the relevance of Christianity in society today, even if it's the morality of the Bible, or even who Christ was as a person. But sometimes the Bible says, for example, answer a fool according to his own folly unless he appears wise in his own eyes. So people like this person, when they're clearly saying like idiotic things, you have to refute them in a way that they understand. You cannot have an intellectual conversation with people as such. So that's why sometimes the conversations will seem a bit more hyperbolic. But then people like yourself, we can have a normal dialogue.
So what's the point of having a conversation like that if nothing good is going to come about it?
Well, you have to then...
You're just going to carry on doing what you're doing, and you're going to carry on
Well,
doing
you have to expose the ignorance of their arguments, the folly of their arguments, because he, for example, went into the Old Testament, and Christians do not follow these laws. But there was an instance where God commanded entire nation to be wiped out, including the animals, because God was so angry with it. So his argument is, what did the donkey do? But within his own religion, in 2020, it says you should kill a lizard because lizards are evil.
Your uncles are here. Your uncles are here, man. Yes, your uncles are here, man. Your uncles are here, man. What do you mean who sent me? Your Uncle Tom is there, man. Uncle Tom is there.
Oh, Tommy Robinson! Listen, Tommy Robinson now is gone. He's left you, my friend.
Mate. It's all coming. It's all coming through, babe. It's all coming through, mate.
He's having a little rest.
Yeah, innit? He's spending some time with the kids
and he's making a big comeback.
What's your name?
The Red Cup. Yes, the Red Cup. You know you keep asking me that, and you're never going to get it.
Whatever your name is.
Listen.
But what I was going to say to you is that don't base your life on an individual.
No, I don't.
No, what I want to say to you,
I base it on beer as well.
I understand. But look, here's the thing. Here's my advice to you.
Yeah.
You can give me all the advice you want. Can I give you?
You can give anything. Yeah.
So here's what I want to say to you. Yeah. You've come to the park and you're chanting Tommy Robinson. Obviously,
I didn't see you last week.
I've chanted a lot different stuff
I haven't seen you for
picks up on that, though, do they?
I understand. But what I'm saying to you,
I come to the park. I'm here every week. I don't see you.
Yeah, I don't come every single week.
No,
but
you
yeah,
don't, no.
what I was going to say, you've come today and you're chanting. What I was going to say to you,
trying anything.
He's fucking massive.
What I was going to say,
it's a big old lump.
It's
a big old lump.
Yeah. What I was going to say,
It goes down though. It goes down. Believe me, it goes down. Everyone goes down. Everyone goes down. I've gone down. Of course, we all
Everyone
go
goes down. Well, no one here is immortal.
No, have you?
And what I was going to say to you is this, yeah? The thing is, you chanting Tommy Robinson's name, I'll be honest with you, it's a bit of a demeaning thing to do.
And I'll explain
Enlighten
why.
me, enlighten
Let me explain why. You guys are all individuals. I'm sure you've got a great personality and you have a lot of knowledge and you have so much life experience. But for you to come, I mean,
You're getting bigger.
honestly,
He's getting bigger.
Look, for you to come.
I saved your life.
Listen,
I saved your life.
I can't remember that.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. When the Nazis were beating you up, I saved you.
Okay, but listen, what I was going to say with the Nazis, but what I was going to say to you is that for you to chant Tommy Robinson's heart, really and truly, you're not getting anything out of it.
Yes, I do.
Your kids will get nothing out of it. Tommy Robinson himself will get nothing out of it. Why not? It's a demeaning spirit.
He's been away for a couple
No,
of
no,
months.
no.
I mean, he's ain't
What I'm
getting the
saying to
following
you,
still,
I'm
mate.
sure.
Wait.
Look, forget about him.
Wait.
What I'm saying is, look, there must be something bigger that you want to represent.
Hang on,
I want to take out all them Muslim grooming gangs because it takes the fucking
No
piss.
problem.
19,000
Fine,
people.
but there's
And
lots
that's
of-
why you should be doing it for your
Fine,
own as
we
well.
do it for- look,
Because if there was a white geezer doing it, I'd go fucking
look,
mad on him. It don't matter about the colour.
Fine. So let's start. So okay. So what your issues are?
You know that, innit?
What are your issues?
My
What do you?
issues are
Yeah, go.
extremists. That's not a problem. I'm not Islamophobic. I'm not racist. I'm not far right. Yeah, you need to get it on board.
Apparently
Tommy
Boris
not
is far right. It's
Tommy is not
Cheers,
for
Dave.
God's sake.
Yeah, with all due respect, I don't care about him.
All right, okay. So
He's
what
just
do
a-
you
he's
do
a
is
non-entity.
Run on the media,
cut my
mate.
hair- I cut my hair because it's grey. Yeah, it's not because I'm far right or.
I'm not. Look, I don't know you to call you far right. I haven't called you that.
No, but your colleague has. Your colleague has.
Look,
okay,
you've
so-
already taken a
It's
defensive
getting
posture.
cold. I'm going to put my head up.
No problem. But you've already taken a defensive posture. I'm not attacking
No, I'm
you.
not,
You get me?
I'm not.
I'm just saying. So I'm not calling you far right.
No, okay.
I don't know who you are.
Yeah,
for me to
yeah,
call you
I
far.
know.
I don't care. Yeah. But what I'm saying is this: is that look, at the end of the day, we're all British people. Yeah? Look, I was born in this.
course, yes.
I was born in this country.
I know all about you.
The Muslims in this country, the majority of them are born here.
Yes.
Okay. And there's got to be a way now.
But
So
Muslims
let me
do
say something.
segregate themselves from
No,
English
no, no, no,
people,
no.
so let them deal with
Listen,
their own.
Can I tell you something,
let me respond
Mohammed?
to that. Let me respond.
Mohammed.
Yeah, go ahead.
Can I say something?
Yeah, of course.
Right. When I speak to my neighbours, yeah, a lot of them are Islamic, yeah? I say hello, good morning and everything. They say the same thing back. But when they come out of the mosque and I say good morning or hello, they ignore me. Why is that?
I don't know.
Come on.
That's a problem with your community, man.
I
don't
know,
I
but
can't-
maybe you need to come and
Can you
sort
tell
it out.
the
Maybe we
difference
do.
between Muslim and
You know?
Islam?
Because I feel like...
I feel
so
like
Muslim-
Islam's the one that pushes
Alright,
it
no,
more, and the
Islam-
Muslims
alright.
take
Islam is the
I
religion.
feel like that's small.
Muslim
When I
is
say
a
hello to my
practitioner of that
neighbour...
religion.
Yeah.
Do you get me? So a
Yeah, but-
Muslim is someone who does Islam.
Yeah, but they're still same, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the same.
Exactly,
Yeah.
yeah.
So there's
So
no
where have you
difference.
been
So
on
then the
holiday?
Muslims should sort out the Islam
Come on,
side of that,
It's
innit?
all online, my friend. I went to
It's the
Canada a
Islam
couple
side
of
that's doing the
times.
bad
I went to the
thing.
UAE one
Yeah.
time. That's what I say. I went to Norway one
Yeah, I
time.
haven't seen you for a long time, you know.
It's been a lot of traveling, my friend. But what I'm saying to you, look, here's what we need to say. Yeah? The thing is, look, it's not a matter of. It's not a matter of Bro, before it was the Muslims, it was the Irish and the black. Do you get
Yes,
me?
of course. Yeah, I'm
Do you get
Irish.
me? What I'm trying to, you're from Ireland, yeah?
Yeah, yeah.
If you're Irish, man, let me tell you something. My dad married
You're
an
telling
Irish
me you
woman.
got Irish in you now?
My dad married an Irish woman. I've got an Irish family, basically. My sister's half Irish, so on and so forth. What I was going to say to you is this, is that we have a lot in common.
Yeah.
Because we both had to suffer the colonization of like the British Empire. Muslim people have to do so
I no
recently,
longer
and
way
so did
back-
the Irish. What I'm saying is
a
that
history
in
lesson,
this
man.
country, Irish people in the 1900s, what's your name again, bro?
The question didn't get sorted, did
In
it?
the early 1900s in this country, Irish and black people were treated as a second.
What do you mean, cousin?
I was brought up.
That's your uncle. That's your uncle, man. But you know what? I'm not being rude. I'm not being horrible. Man. It's good to see you.
Well, how triggered you are?
Fuck that, man. That's your uncle.
It's all online.
What's wrong with
There
him?
was like 30 people around me. But what I was going to say,
What's wrong?
For me, it was a bit disappointing.
It was.
He don't want to say nothing, does he?
These are, I consider you as my people in a sense, yeah? We're all British. At the end of the day, we have different cultural
But I'm not
dispositions.
Islamophobic.
I
This is the thing, my
I
friend. I'm not
understand.
Islamophobic.
Get it, but
I'm not Islamophobic.
I get it. But when you associate and align yourself with people like preachers, which I consider are an offence to my community, then what happens is I start thinking that you're part of that discourse. So I'm not saying that you are, but if you say that I'm Tommy Robinson's fan or whatever, correct. For me, that's just like, okay, so imagine if I say I'm Anjem Chowdhury's fan. What are you going to say about me? Do you get me? If I say I support Anjem Chowdhury.
Yeah, but has Tommy ever incited violence? Has he ever incited terrorism? He's not. He's not. He's Tommy.
Yeah, no, I get it, but he's offensive to us.
But he's offensive to you.
Yeah, he's offensive.
Because you don't like what he stands for, yeah?
No, exactly. But here's the thing.
Anjem Chowdhury's incited violence.
No
he's
problem.
incited
No
terrorism.
problem.
You've gone from one scale to another.
How
can you bring Tommy Robinson in the same conversation or even the same sentence as Anjem Chowdhury?
Get someone else who's not Andrew. Get someone else.
No, but you just brought that.
Fine.
Mohammed, you just brought that.
Fine.
You
I'm
brought
with you.
Tommy Robinson and Anjem Chowdhury to the same sentence.
Let's not.
No, Tommy's never incited violence. He's never incited racism. He's not even incited Islamophobic.
Yeah, come see.
I walk away with truth.
He's going to walk away. But listen, bro, can I tell you something? Yeah. What I'm coming to you.
But how can Anjem Chowdhury be in the same sentence as...
Forget him. Forget Anjem Chowdhury.
But you did mention it though.
Okay, I'm with you.
So
Listen to me.
No, but for that to be in your mind, that is your mindset.
Well, let me explain.
Tommy has ever incited violence? Has he ever incited violence?
Not in the direct ways that Anjem Chowdhury.
In what way then?
In an indirect way, my
Tell me.
Because look, let me explain something to you.
Tell me. No, I want enlighten me.
All right, fine. The language that Tommy Robinson uses, yeah? And not only just him.
Give me one sentence.
One sentence?
Yeah.
Yeah, are you sure about that?
Yeah, come on, please, hit me with it.
All right, so let me give you a racial sentence. Let me give you a racial sentence. After I took offense to you, yeah? He said one time in one of his interviews, Tommy Robinson, he said about Somalian people that they're like aliens. And he said about a British black person that he should go back to his country, even though he was black. And British black.
And where was that said?
That was said on his social media, which I've got as proof. You can go to my Instagram.
Show me it.
All right, no problem. Can you get it? Can you get it? Now, that kind of language for me, being an African myself, yeah, I'm an Arab African, but you get me? Forget about Islam for now. There's a bigger cultural problem. For me, I think he's a racist. When he was in his car, he made a video talking about London has changed.
Yeah, it has changed.
What he's talking about is that it's become non-white. That's what he's talking about.
Well, that's not racial, really, is it?
No, it is. Of course it's racial. What I'm saying is that he sees that as a negative thing. What I'm saying to you is that, look, British is not equivalent to white.
Yeah.
It's not equivalent. Now you have black British people. Now you have Arab British people.
Right.
Do you get me?
On that note, I'll stop you, right? I'll stop you. If you look around you today, what would you say the population in this park is right now, today?
This park?
No, forget colour.
He was going
Right. In a percentage, what would you say?
The thing is, this.
No, hang on, no.
I don't know.
I'm asking you a
60%. 60.
No, I would say you're being modest there.
Maybe 70. I don't know.
I would say you're being even more modest.
What do you think, bro? You're here all the time.
I would say 95% is Islamic.
No. Come on. There's a lot of Christians here, bro.
Yes.
No.
And the statistics are done through the committee every week.
No, I don't know.
90. Say 90.
No, I don't think 90. Well, bro, let me tell you something. London's a cosmopolitan area, man.
But no, I don't see.
So what? Who cares though?
Go on.
Since when is number of people in Speaker's Corner defining the population?
No, but what it comes down to is ladies, right, would like to come to this corner every week and have their say. Yes?
They've never been prevented.
But they feel intimidated, right? I'll tell you why. Because a lot of people from Islamic cultures, oppress the women.
Oh, come on.
No, it's... hang on,
fine.
Look in
there are a
the
lot of people from...
Which lady told you that when they come here?
I see it every week. Right, we've got one Jewish lady, the last lady standing in the park.
Listen, do you know how many women get beaten up by their husbands? You know Stella? You know what Stella's known for?
Yes.
What's it known for? Wife beating drink. Why? Because when their team loses...
One person. One person.
The drink Stella is known for wife beaters. You know why? Because you know why? Because when their team loses in a football match, they go home and beat their wives. Am I lying?
Would they say no? They would say... Crazy.
Not saying the Quran men can beat their wives.
Oh, no.
We can talk about
yes,
that.
of course it does.
I've got Stella here. I haven't got no wife to beat.
That's exactly what we're talking about.
I wouldn't hit a woman if
Okay, can I say
woman
something?
hit me.
Look, argument's sake. Can I say something? Argument's sake, in the Quran it tells us...
Ali, you're making a fool, man.
It does not say in the Quran that men can beat the wives.
Madam, can I speak? Let's suppose...
Yes, it does.
I look around the park today.
Let's suppose... Can I speak?
Let Ali finish
Let's
his
suppose, argument's sake, Islam tells us to be our wives. What's your excuse? No, let's suppose argument's sake, in the Quran it tells us, it doesn't, we can be our wives. You don't believe in the Quran. No, I'm not saying you.
No,
but generally,
I've read the Quran. I've smoked the Quran.
Okay, what I'm saying is the following. We have an excuse. Apparently, we can beat our wives. Then why is the vast majority of a lot of women get beaten up by their husbands because their football team loses?
Well, I don't agree.
What's your
I've never been
excuse?
to a football match in my life,
And the
I've
man
never
can
raised
be
my hand to a
taken
woman.
to court
Simple.
Yeah, but
and fined
he's
for
got a
that.
point here.
You're
Look,
missing the
can
point.
I tell you what he says? He's making a point.
In Sharia
What-
court,
what's your-
it's allowed for men to beat their wives. Yes, it is. Sharia law allows men to beat their wives. Of course it does. Come on. If a man was to beat his wife, take him to court.
He's made a point. Yeah, he said that. He said it's still with his point. Because you're conflating sociological and religious discourse. Let me tell you why. He's saying that. Let's go with the sake of argument that Quran says that. He said, let's go with that. He's saying that. First of all, what evidence do you have that Muslim men are more prone to doing that than non-Muslim men? Number two is, how can you explain the fact that you have a domestic violence issue in non-Muslim communities?
Every night,
So why is it specified to the Muslim community then? If it's an issue of human beings, right?
So I'm asking a question. Every 90
It's got
seconds,
nothing to do with Sharia.
a woman gets
It's non-Muslim, isn't it?
in this country. Every 90 seconds, a woman gets beat by her husband or a boyfriend. I'm seeing arguments saying we Muslims, our book tells us to do it. What's your excuse? Why are you beating your wife?
Listen, I've never been. Right, Ali, I've already said that, right?
Not you.
I've never been to a football match, right? I don't have a wife to beat, yeah? I drink.
Oh, so if you did, you would?
No, I wouldn't raise a hand to a woman. But when
But Tommy Robinson did. He was caught by an undercover officer.
I don't believe that. Where did you read that? In the News of the
No.
World?
I've got a good one. 1 second.
Unbelievable.
One second. Can I have this statement? Just give me 30 seconds.
Why did you bring Tommy in?
I'm going to give you 3 instances. Avi Yemeni caught throwing a chopping board to his wife's head. Chopping board. Number 2, Paul Golden was locking up Jada. You know Jada?
Oh, locking.
What was Jada saying? Jada was saying, listen. Jada was saying, listen.
Independent. Say no more.
Hijab.
You probably paid 10 for that.
Jada was telling me, shake my hand. I did not want to touch her. Guess what? Paul Golden was touching her, beating her up in the wrong way, touching her in the wrong way,
I don't believe
locking her up with a documentary.
He's an MMA fighter as well.
Yes. Imagine a woman. And
Oh my God.
Jada was telling us they're wife beaters. And Tommy Robinson got caught being assaulting his wife and undercover officer.
It's rubbish. It's rubbish.
They all got convicted.
What?
Paul Golden got convicted.
Did Tommy get convicted?
Yes,
No.
Yes, it's in his record.
For what?
For assaulting his wife.
Show me.
Yes, no problem. Yes, we've got it.
Wait a minute, man. Come on, now you got to be fair, right?
I'm going to be fair.
Do you condemn that? Do you condemn Paul Golden, Tommy Robinson, Avi Yemeni?
I like Evie.
You like someone that throws shopping board at his wife's head?
I don't believe that.
Okay, watch this.
I don't believe
Avi.
that. I like Evie. He stood up to you.
You're not going to like him now.
He stood up to you.
I don't think he stood that.
It's the top thing. Avi Yemeni wife. Avi Yemeni spokesman for Tommy Robinson convicted for assaulting his
Show me,
ex-wife.
brighten it. I'm a bit blind in my twilight years.
Okay.
He wants to see all these things.
She described being.
I'll look it up later.
This is Avi Yemeni's wife. She described being terrorized and feeling like. She described being terrorized.
Oh, he doesn't care about BBC then. What do you agree with? None of the British papers.
A Jewish
It's a giant.
Look.
I've been seeing it for a long time.
Look. Avi Yemeni, also known as social media as Israel Avi, was convicted and fined at Morabin Magistrates Court. He was also convicted on the charge of using carriage services, sending electronic
Do you know what I could
communication
put that down to?
to harass his wife.
If it
Yeah,
is
let's
true,
say
which
this.
I
Do
get
you know how
down
much
to,
money
it's
she
probably
got to say
post-traumatic
that?
distress.
She got money to
Do you know how much money she got to say to say that?
Post-traumatic distress.
If I beat my wife and I said post-traumatic,
Hang on.
Come on, bro.
The man has been on the front line, Avi.
Come
Yeah? He's a
on.
little warrior.
so that gives him a right to beat his wife.
No, I'm not saying that.
Shopping.
I'm saying
Let the
if
guys
it
talk.
happened, and I doubt it happened, if there must be a reason
He got
behind
done in
it.
Australia.
No, I don't believe
Can I ask you a question? Be honest. If you heard Ali Dawa
Have
punch
you
his
ever
wife
been
in the
obvious?
face, would you say, come on, Ali, maybe he's
How many
he was
wives?
traumatized at the
Hang
freedom
on,
of speech
hang on.
event. Get
Ali
beat.
Dawa. Which wife are we talking about? You got 7.
Let's suppose I have 4.
No, it's 4 and 3 concubines.
How many wives you got now? No, while we're on this subject, how many wives have you got now? Come on, Ali. With your eye sky.
Let's
You've got eyeliner. It's got eyeliner on, by the way.
It's irrelevant.
You don't wear eyeliner, do you? Do you wear eyeliner? Do you wear eyeliner?
I wear eyeliner.
No, he's got eyeliner on.
No, it looks like that.
Now, come on, you
It's
said...
sunnah anyway, no problem. I do it before I come to the park. Do you look? Let's suppose if you heard that I hit my wife, would you give me good excuses or would you go for me?
No, I would ask if it's true or not true.
Okay, and if you find that it's true, would you say post-traumatic disorder?
No, I wouldn't. I don't believe what I read in the newspapers.
Okay, if you hear about Ali
you
Dawah-
believe what you see in the newspapers. You
Okay.
believe.
Well,
I believe
Paul
only if I
Golden,
see it with my
Paul
own eyes.
Golden, he got charged by locking up Jada in not
Why are you bringing Paul Golden into this?
Because they are the ones who are telling us we hit our wives and they're the ones that are beating their girlfriends up.
But I didn't bring up Paul Golden, you did.
No, but she said that we beat our wives up apparently. And I'm saying, Paul Golden...
No, what I'm saying is... What I'm saying is... Right, can I ask you a question? A serious question. Right, you know in Saudi Arabia, yeah? Why do Islamic women walk around in a black attire as opposed to white? Being with the sun, yeah? If the sun draws to the black, yeah? And you remember when we was kids with the magnet? You know, the cloth and the magnet? It attracts the sun a lot quicker. Wouldn't it be more beneficial to put the women in the... is there a reason for that?
It's just what they wear, isn't it?
No, but do you not think
you
Saudi
got a
Arabia is
problem
very
with
hot?
it?
No, I just thought of it. Like, when I see the ladies around the park today, right? The husband in front, the 6 wives behind, you know.
It's only 4 allowed.
Well, no, over there. Go and have a look. Put your camera up now and focus over there. Right? There's a lot of Islamic women.
This guy's not very serious.
Right, all right, we've seen a number of ladies walking behind the man, but they're all in black attire, yeah?
Okay.
And it's okay in this country, yeah? But in a hot country, do you not think it's...
Yeah, maybe they should wear something a little bit lighter, brother.
No, but have you ever seen one of your wives...
In England, we're holding nothing when it's freezing cold.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, that's a good point. Thank you. Like, do you know, I'm not gonna lie. Ali, I want to tell you something. I walk in the street.
That's it, because we
You
can.
can.
They can wear whatever they want.
Show me, Ali.
They can wear if they want to wear black.
He admitted himself. Yeah, but he's not...
Yeah.
It's like a cup of tea. You don't like it,
They're
why not?
wearing black, they're red.
Come on, he's
Yeah.
born in Britain. Come on.
No. I support Tommy because he's a truth teller.
But he's not Irish,
He's a
pro-Irish.
truth teller. He's a truth teller.
He's not pro-Irish.
Tommy's for Irish descent.
How about if I connect him to the IRA?
He's not connected to the IRA.
No, but he's not pro-Ireland,
Why
is
am
he?
I connected to
No,
tax that
hang on. Jeremy Corbyn's connected to the IRA. Come on. Yes, he is.
Yes, he is. He's a
scumbag.
Irish.
He's Irish descendant, yes.
If I was to come and say these attacks that happened in the IRA, recently they were sending some parcels to certain places. Why if I connected that to Tony Robinson? Would it be fair? Would it be fair for me to connect that to Tony Robinson?
I'm not connecting you to anything, am I?
No, he is.
Have I
Because
connected
every Muslim,
you?
enemy
You
combatants,
dox his address,
behind me.
But you do set out beside people's address.
And
You
also,
probably dox me
also-
tonight. I'm scared of you two.
We were the ones
No,
got
I
beat up
come
in
in
the Freedom
peace.
Speech event. Who's running for our life? Martin Selner, who the attacking Christchurch attacker. He donated $500 to Martin Selner's organisation, which Tommy Robinson came here to read his letter. You condemn that?
I was there that day.
You condemn it? He was connected to Martin Selner. Martin Selner read, Tommy Robinson read his speech. Imagine me reading a speech from ISIS, Abu Bakr Baghdadi, and he comes here and I say, guys, this is the speech. What would I be told? Be honest.
But Ali, a lot of people would say there that the same way as some people were inspired by that speech, a lot of people are inspired by the Quran to do things like that.
No, but this is what I'm trying to say. You can't. That's the issue. We're saying that for you to come and say you're inspired by this verse, you need to bring evidence. When I challenged Tommy Robinson, he was on the morning show.
But I think there's a more fundamental...
I'm dying for a wee-wee, yeah?
All right, cool.
And I've been dying for a long time.
Do your thing.
I don't want to say piss, but God bless Tommy, yeah? And
well, come on, man. Let me tell you something, man.
You're a liar.
I think that you're a better guy than Tommy Robinson, man.
No, I support Tommy. He's a truth teller. You tell me otherwise, right? And I'll walk away. He's not a
Come on, bro, man. Don't
believe he's far.
Look, who cares about him? What's he doing for you?
If it's my world, they put him in a castle, right, surrounded by his angels.
All right, cool. Anyways, go to the toilet, my friend. See you later, man.
Another little debatey, waity.
Kane quickly. How you doing? Okay, good to see you.
Blessed, bro. Happy New Year, bro.
Happy New Year to you. See what's going on. Big up everybody in the chat. Really appreciate everybody tuning in. Thank you very much to the 346 people in the chat. Love, blessings, and that to all. Appreciate it. Don't know.
Big up BVM. It's hectic. I've got to go home in an hour. Got a lot of family stuff to do today. Family, Raj. Family, Raj.
Yes, Raj. One point I wanted to say, because I really good speech as well. In the way that we say that we're British, got a British passport, do you still put yourself, for me personally, I don't put myself as close to the indigenous person that is actually born in this. Not born in this country. That has Anglo-Saxon roots.
I am not ethnically British. I'm not racially English. I am a Punjabi. My roots go back thousands of years to the Punjab. What I am though is a British citizen who's Punjabi and I'm Sikh. So this is where people need to start understanding that you can be all three, but it doesn't mean that we're ethnically British. Well, obviously we're not. I can only trace my family here till the 60s.
The only thing I wanted to do was clarify the difference, because when you said your speech, someone could have took it and said, oh, look, Raj thinks this is English.
No.
Anglo-Saxon.
No. I've always said, look, I'm happy to be Punjabi, man. So the thing is that people need to start understanding that you're a British citizen. I'm a British citizen. I'm not ethnically British, a citizen. I am Punjabi by ethnicity and race. And thirdly, my religion is Sikhism. And all three of them, I don't think is an issue. And if someone's a British Pakistani Muslim, as long as they abide by certain kind of ideologies and ways of thinking, then that's fine as well. Don't worry, white people. I wasn't trying to, hijack your race. Calm down. Don't get triggered. I bet there was a lot of white people going, oh my God, that brown Indian. How dare he say that? It's only Raupesh, the toilet seat of the far right, can say that.
Speak up.
Yeah, I'm going to be around.
You gonna shake my hand? I get the respect.
Bro, we always fight, didn't we?
Yeah.
You're still my brother. Huh? No, you know what? You're still my brother, innit? Regardless. All good, yeah.
I'm telling you now, I'm like, I don't want to hear anything.
And what question?
Make you feel like I'm setting you up or anything. That's all good. I'll come back to you and have a chat with you in a little while or something. Done now. Good to see you as well anyway.
Why speaking is illegal in Israel?
Right, Issa, you ready for me?
It's allowed.
Do you know what? I didn't even have anything. I was thinking, you want to see what the chat is about?
I'm playing with you. Big up. Good to see you.
Choose your husband.
Jordan,
I'm
I'm waiting
taking the
for.
extra wives. You only have one wife, one husband.
But in the rest of the world, a man can take extra wives.
You can have 10
But not in Israel. A Muslim woman knows her husband can't get an extra wife. That's good.
What? Israeli had 4 wives. What are
The
you talking
Israelis, Arabs,
girlfriends.
get a good education.
But Israel, Jacob
Unlike
had
the
4
crap
wives.
third world
That's where
education
he came from.
that
4
everyone
wives.
else gets.
It's in the Bible. What are you talking about? You don't know your
Excellent
Bible.
country, Israel.
It's in the Old
The
Testament.
only country in the
waste any
Middle
people,
East
big up.
where Christians are increasing in numbers.
Oh, come on,
Everywhere else in the Middle East,
persecuted,
Christians
the poor
are
Christians,
persecuted and they're trying to get out. But Israel, the numbers are coming up.
No.
Christians throughout history.
Correct.
What did you guys say about? What did you guys say about Jesus?
Correct.
Exactly. What does the
Christians
Talmud
have
say about
persecuted
Jesus?
The Jews, the
but
Crusaders,
I would
the Inquisition,
I would
the Holocaust.
Exactly.
But the Jews treat the Christians very well.
I would agree with one point you've made. That's true. The last point you made is absolutely quite right. Okay. Right.
And I certainly agree that Israel's right to exist. There's no question there should be two states there. No doubt about that at all. Good, glad to hear it, thank you. No, I've always said that too. Yes, For good. years I'm I've said glad it too. people hear you. I've always said
As
that
a
too.
Jewish state or as a multi?
Israel's right to exist is absolutely fundamental to me, no question about that. But I have to say, to Israel are going about the thing the wrong way. The West Bank settlements, you know, the West Bank settlements are a big mistake.
I love
the fact that the wall, not all of them, they should not be there. That is that is a two-state solution. Is the only solution. I'll come to you on that point. He's against all the settlements. Mike Pompeo, one of the American politicians, said he didn't say they're all legal. He said they're not illegal per se. In other words, some are illegal, but some aren't.
But it's not.
And I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why.
But they're in Palestine.
Yes, hang on. I'm trying to answer your point. I'm trying to answer your point.
That was
when the
Tracy.
United Nations partitioned Palestine, because all the attacks by the Arabs on the Jews,
that's true.
In the part that was given to the Arabs, large amounts of it was owned by Jews. I'm all in favour. Hang on. I'm all in favour of those Jews who own that land being able to go and live on their properties. So I'd say those aren't illegal settlements. But hang on, I've nearly finished. But all right, hang on. But those settlements on land owned by Jews, nevertheless, are part of Palestine. They're not part of Israel. They're Jewish-owned settlements in Palestine.
Well, how about, let me just ask the question, how about the Palestinian-owned settlements in Israel?
Well, do you know, there's 1.9 million Arabs who own properties in Israel, and that's fine. We don't say because you don't allow to own land there, you can't own there.
You would agree with
fine.
me. You would agree with me. They have not got exactly the same rights as Israelis.
I disagree.
They have not. No, they really have not.
In law, they're equal.
I was there recently talking to you. If you go down to Bethlehem, for example, I was there doing Friday prayer.
That's not Israel. That's not Israel. That's Palestine.
I know.
Come on, let him talk.
It is Palestine. We're talking
Palestine,
about
yes.
Palestine. No, the Israeli settlements are in Palestine.
Yeah.
They've had no permission to go into Palestine, and now you build walls around the settlements.
I disagree.
Well, no,
Did you know?
don't disagree. No,
I disagree.
No, please.
Everyone is allowed to go back to properties they own. No. They are allowed to go back to properties they own.
No.
They should not be building settlements on land owned by a Palestinian. I agree 100% on that. But if they owned it before 1948, they should be able to go and live on it.
No, but it isn't just a settlement. They built huge settlements around
yes,
there.
Yes, and I'm agreeing with you on that. I'm agreeing with you. Listen.
Massive one near Bethlehem.
Listen.
The huge settlement.
Listen, look, you're an intelligent man. You don't want to put words in my mouth. I'm clarifying. I've said settlements which have been built on Palestinian-owned land, they're illegal. I agree with you on that.
But there are lots of
I'm just saying there are some on land owned by Jews and they are not illegal. That's all I'm saying. It's not a one-size-fits-all.
Would you agree that after partition in 1948, when many Arabs were expelled or fled the sea, now they want to return, some of them want to return, they're given no permission to return. Isn't that true?
I'll answer that. The Israeli government has always said that any Palestinian who owns land in Israel, when there's a peace deal, they will either be able to come back to their property or get compensation. But not until there's a peace deal. Not until there's a deal. It's a bit like, to use the analogy, hang on, one at a time, the analogy of Ireland. Britain used to keep IRA people in internment camps without trial, hang on, and they said, when there's a peace deal, we'll release you all, but not until then. And when the Good Friday Agreement was signed, then all those IRA prisoners were all released, but not before the peace deal was done. Same thing in Israel. When there's a peace deal, then all those good things will happen.
So when is this peace deal then?
When the Palestinians bother to go and negotiate with Israel, which they could have done in 1948, and at any point since 1948, they've chosen not to.
Well, they're not going to
Therefore,
agree.
Israel says, come and negotiate.
But they're not going to agree to the settlements. They're not. Palestinians are not going to agree to the settlements in
I didn't say they have to.
No,
we're
not talking about the odd village here and there. We're talking about gigantic estates, huge
Look,
as
we
far as the eye
both
can
agreed.
see.
We both agreed
Massive
they're
things
illegal.
they are.
Hello. We both agree. Tell me, have you heard me several times say that those settlements are illegal?
Yes.
Have you heard me?
Yes, you have.
Good, right. Okay. Nevertheless, they're
move
there.
on.
So the Palestinians have to go negotiate.
Israel.
Where the borders
But I mean, I really believe, you know, that
Oh, I feel like going back there now. In a minute, let me just go and have a look and see what I've got. Oh, gosh, let me get this.
أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله لا إله إلا الله أقيموا الصلاة now.
So you're praying to Allah, are you? Hello? Are you praying to Allah? Are you praying to Allah?
Jesus prayed to Allah.
Is he praying to Allah?
Jesus prayed to Allah.
Listen,
Jesus prayed to God.
He prayed to the living God. You pray to a dead God.
Prayer time. Salat, salat. Hayya salat, hayya salat. Ahmed, let's go.
Five guys are going to show up. They're going to yell.
Maybe people come inside the backyard. Jari hatta.
Hey, I'm going to the snack bar right now.
Champion, you ready for debate?
Inshallah, what's
I'm joking, that's
It's in there. Because he was denying it.
Some of these people have no other life. You discuss about your accusation that Guru Tegh Bahadur was killing Muslims in India. No, that's not my issue with it. That's a minute part of it.
But what you're doing about Sheikh Faisal and trying to link him is wrong. Well, all right, let me just tell you my experience. I followed the Nan. I didn't used to like him, yeah, right? You know my.
Who are you talking about?
Right? But I will tell you, since I've been to the park, on my son's life, I've seen Adnan take on extremists. On my son's life, I've seen it. Like, there was people trying to preach Khilafah, we're going to take over, Tawheed al-Hakamiyya, yeah? I've seen Adnan was the one that shut them down. There were people like I'm not from London anymore. You go up north, there wasn't people like Adnan, there'll be far more extremists. Yeah, Adnan is not the problem. I swear to God, Adnan is not the problem.
Alright, so
fine.
And Chowdhury. I'm not saying that. My argument is my main argument is this, that he has been accusing myself and Stephen of us for as long as I've been here as being paid instigators, that we're paid by Tommy Robinson.
I disagree with him on
and
that.
he's been going over to the Christians saying that they are hate preachers. The first time I met him, do you know how I first met Adnan Rashid? Was Mansour coming over with 5 cameras when I was with Daniel, saying that Daniel was a hate preacher. And so I'm just turning the mirror on him. Because when we told him about the guy that's been filming him for 2 years, who is now in prison, Abu Qasim Muhammad Haddad, that he's actually a real life individual that's now in prison, they just fobbed us off and they would use the argument, oh well, you're just a hate preacher, you work for Tommy Robinson. So I'm just trying to shine a light on these guys' hypocrisy, because we tried to tell them that this guy here is a dangerous individual that's coming to the park, and instead of heeding our advice, they just kept on deflecting. I mean, Shamsi and them lot, it took him 2 minutes, although I disagree with Shamsi and a lot of stuff, it took him 2 minutes to find out this guy is linked to Anjem Chowdhury. He's definitely somebody that is a full-on ISIS supporter. And for Adnan Rashid to...
But do you think Adnan knew that this extremist was filmed? I mean, I'll be honest with you, there's all sorts of personalities in the park, yeah? There's probably good, bad, there's people with issues here, like you know that as well, right? That Abu Qasim or whatever his name is, dead quiet, just sits there, you hardly speaks here, from my experience here. I don't know who he was until you, and I think that was commendable what you did, by the way, yeah?
It wasn't me, it was Steve.
But
first.
even Steve, yeah? And I don't agree with just calling you Islamophobe, shutting the debate out or anything like that, but I think this kind of, this thing Steve and you guys have forwarded about trying to link him to Sheikh Faisal and trying to make out like he's got terrorist kind of sympathies or extremist sympathies, I think that's wrong.
All right, so,
because, no, let me just explain my point, yeah? Right? Because firsthand, I've seen him challenge the extremists here, the real ones. I've seen him shut them down. His own son was on an ISIS video, Musa, right? And I messaged him, you can ask him. Right, he was down. His own son was getting allegations, and his head was like, basically. So you can't say about, you know, Adnan, if you follow his career as well, yeah? Right? With Adnan, for the last, when you're about 21, you do stupid things, yeah? We all do. Like, it's a progression, you're learning. He's been on a journey. Like, and Adnan is one of our, I would say, as a Muslim, even though I disagree with so many points, age of Aisha, so many other points, but I see him as my brother and my ustad in the sense that he's the solution. Like,
do you want to respond?
No, let me just finish. I think he's the solution in the sense that you might not agree with him in terms of history, have that intellectual discussion, but just to kind of character assassinate him, oh, he's an extremist, he's linked with Sheikh Faisal, I think that's bang out of order.
All right, so let me explain the problem here.
Yeah, 20 years ago, bro.
The problem with Adnan
20 years ago, like, that's not fair, innit? Like,
after the geezer, he was trying to raise money. I mean, not raise money, support for that geezer. He was trying to raise money. Telling people to go to court for the black fella who was a Muslim, and then he denounced that guy.
All right, so
I didn't get that. So you talking about Sheikh Faisal?
So let me explain.
But that's what I'm saying. 20 years ago, there's loads of people.
All right, so let me
people progress.
All right,
He's not like.
All right, so let me explain something here. Look, I understand you have an affinity with Adnan Rashid. I get that, and you want to protect your.
But unfair. No.
I'm not
Hold
on, 1 minute. Let me finish.
He's wrong.
Let me finish. I truly believe you feel that.
What's that?
That you truly believe that he hasn't done no wrong. I don't think you're trying to deflect from him.
No.
I think you truly believe that. But the problem that I see is here. In 2003, he was linked to an individual that is now being deported from the UK for promoting terrorism.
When? 2003? Let me just clarify.
Yeah, 2003.
How long ago was that?
Let me explain. Let me finish. Now, in 2003, let me finish the thingy. Now, people make mistakes.
Yeah.
People grow.
Yeah.
Now, the problem with this situation is when we've given him the evidence where it's clearly him, he is saying it's not him. Now, that's a problem, because if someone comes up to me a video from 20 years ago, so that's you, and what I would say to him, okay, that was me then. Okay, I made a mistake and I move on. Now, he lied about that, and he still lied last week on camera saying it wasn't him. Now, what happened next was with Abu Qasim. Abu Qasim is not just some random guy that Adnan Rashid was never talking to, didn't know. So
are you 100% sure about that?
I've been here for 2 years, yeah, and the first speech that I used to see was him. And if you go on to Speaker's Corner Brotherhood, which is Abu Qasim's channel, 95% of the videos of Adnan Rashid, Mansour, and Hashim. Now, the thing is, if I go up to you and you've got a guy filming you most of the time, and I go, dude, this guy's linked to Anjem Chowdhury, we got the videos, blah, blah, blah. The least you would do was to try and look into in the back chat. You can ignore me and say, I'm an Islamophobe. But what you should do, if you truly are against extremism, a 2-minute cursory investigation would have shown who he was. Instead, what he done, when Paul told Hashim and Mansour 1 year ago that Paul and another guy told Hashim and Mansour 1 year ago this guy was at Old Bailey. What they said was, whatever. And then when he tried to condemn the extremists, they blocked him for the Facebook pages. They didn't ostracize him for the Dawa channels, and they literally have ostracized him for.
Let's get Paul. He's there, innit?
Adnan's still here. He's gonna.
Yeah.
So basically, what's happening is that
Paul.
what I've got to ask is not is no.
But you're saying there's a lot of points there. Let's deal with each point.
So what I'm trying to show, there's a lot of dishonesty within Adnan Rashid here, which is concerning.
Yeah.
So if he's lying about this, what else is he lying about? Because he can barefaced lie on some of the most, let's just say, like things that even his own Muslim brothers confirm it's him in the video, and he still 2 weeks ago said it wasn't him. He also has said that,
and I like to say as well, that video he said it wasn't him originally.
Wait, I can't. I'm not going to go to Arsene Wenger and say I didn't see it.
But let me just make a point. That video he said was doctored. But that video is 10 years old. I've seen the original one, and it tells YouTube tells you the upload date. So it's not doctored because it was uploaded with a lot of other seminars, and they're all 10 years old, which is
my
2000.
My question to you,
2009 when they're
as a
uploaded.
Christian and as a Sikh, I want you to answer this. How much of this is personal vendetta, and how much of it is genuine concern? Be honest.
Me, I don't have a personal vendetta, but when I see hypocrisy in the park, because what he does, he spits out dangerous rhetoric against Christians and say, for example, not even that. New Zealand killer. He said he was a Christian, and he's read his manifesto. He doesn't call himself a Christian. So why are you, if you've read the manifesto and you know he's not a Christian, why are you telling people he's a Christian? You're either deceiving people or you're doing it with malice. This is why I approach him with the same standard. And the first time I approached him, I explained this to him. What I see you do, I'm coming with the same level of evidence and same standard.
But this is what I'm saying. Like me, as someone from the outside, you know, like I have respect for you. I always have respect for the brother here. The Christian, I always treat you with respect, and it's not takia, by the way, or anything. It's genuine. I see you as my brother in humanity and stuff. And I don't even get into Christian Muslim polemics. That's not my thing. I just let you lot do your thing. But I feel like I watch Speaker's Corner from afar, like many people. I feel like sometimes it's because you lot are at each other every week, and Raj will probably Christians, Muslim. He's the big guy from the Muslim point of view, and you guys are like the big guys from the Christian point of view. How much? And I understand your hypocrisy point.
Yeah, but this is the thing. Before I approach,
I don't. But do you honestly think he's an extremist?
Let me just reply one more time.
Do you think he's an extremist? I don't think he's an extremist.
But let me just reply. When I approached him, he had never ever said anything negative about me. I did not need to have a vendetta against him. I just, like I said, that's my evidence against myself, that I had no vendetta. Because I approached him and he'd never said anything negative against me. So my thing was what I saw him doing. He calls people Islamophobes. He says you're a paid agent. A paid agent from who? Now, as a learned, that's my problem. If he was an ignorant person, like a low IQ person, he can get away with it. But if you're intelligent, I see people who are intelligent, it's malice. It's like premeditated murder versus unplanned.
Listen, I'm going to agree with you with most of what you said, but unfortunately, there are agents here.
Yeah, but
we know there is. There's people that
unless he has evidence, why are you?
You can't just throw that. Exactly. Yeah, I agree with you, but I think this whole kind of notion of Adnan linking him to Sheikh Fahd, something that was
all right. So
long ago. Let me finish. So long ago, right? I've seen him like firsthand, and I'm saying this from on my son's life, right? I've seen him. You know the real extremists that come and try to cause division. I've seen him shut them down. I've seen it when I first came. That's when my opinion changed within myself as well. There was extremists playing, the Kuffar, this Kuffar. He goes, what are you talking about? He was vicious.
All right, so
but
Sheikh Faisal is linked to Adnan Rashid through Abu Qasim. What is the reason why Abu Qasim is in prison? Abu Qasim is in prison for distributing video pictures of Sheikh Faisal. One of them, including literature, telling 12-year-old kids to make IEDs and bombs.
We know that.
So the point is, in 2003, Adnan Rashid, Adnan Rashid was linked to Sheikh Faisal, which he denies.
But the point is, why is it when Adnan Rashid was approached, actually, when Steve approached Abu Qasim and was asking him about, what's his name, Anjem Chowdhury, he said, if you cannot answer, I will answer for you.
And he said this as well. He said, you support
because you said he shut down people. Why is it then this person, despite everyone's claims, you just didn't bat an eyelid to what the claims were?
He said worse though.
No.
He said he follows an extremist.
So with Adnan, he's very close to Muslims. Right? My son was ill, he was in hospital, he got meningitis. Adnan doesn't know me. He was messaging me on Facebook, oh, how's your son? He'd call me, how's your son? The guy didn't know me, like, you know, he only seen me once. Adnan's very close to Muslims. So he follows the principle of always having a good opinion. Now, unfortunately, on this occasion, that has let him down. So when you got videos of Abu Qasim going to, bro, half the time when these lot go for dinner and stuff like, you don't know what this next man believes.
But the thing is, that even the videos of him on with Anjem Chowdhury have been out a long time ago.
But we've all progressed.
I
used to think
as
like
Adnan, you should at least say, what are these allegations? Are these allegations true? Look at Shamsi. Even though people may not like his method, he questions them on their ideology, because he even had a video saying, if you don't believe in ISIS, you're a Jew.
But look at Adnan's videos though. He's consistently called out extremists and he's giving you Quran and Hadith wise. I believe the reason I'm bringing this up, because I think it's dangerous. Because if we shut people like Adnan down, who's left?
He's been trying to shut down other people by calling them Islamophobes.
He's trying to get me for harassment.
And that's why I say.
He's been to the police today 4 times.
It's like what they say, what you put out.
I disagree with him, but I'm saying from what I've seen, Adnan is not the problem.
The Bible says what you sow, you shall reap.
So when you're the Bible, I can show you. That's right.
I don't disagree. Why is he going to not come for Adnan if he's been saying lies about him for years and years and years?
For years. The point is this, I'm not going to give a judgment whether Adnan Rashid is extreme or not. The point is he's a link to people that are extremists.
But when?
So
we got 2003.
2003 is one of them.
And I don't think
when it comes to Abu Qasim, just go on to Speaker's Corner Brotherhood. Who's Haytham al-Haddad? Who is Haytham al-Haddad? Who is Haytham al-Haddad?
Haytham al-Haddad is the teacher, I think, of Ali Dawa.
And Adnan Rashid.
I've seen this website.
Is Haytham al-Haddad a moderate Muslim, or is he somebody that is banned from certain countries?
If you're going to ask me, does Haytham al-Haddad believe in FGM and stuff like that? From what I've read, yes. I'm going to be honest with you. From what I've read, yes. Ali Dawa or Mohammed Hijab will be able to answer that better for you, but I don't think Haytham Haddad is the issue either. I think I've met Sheikh Haytham Haddad a few times. I disagree with him in terms of his mentality and in terms of some of the things he said. But they are the ones that are gonna, with Islam now in the UK, you got a lot of youngsters looking for what it means. These guys are keeping the roadmans off the extremism, right? So if we shoot them down, I see Haytham Haddad has obviously gone through cancer recently. He's changed his opinion on a lot of things as well. And he's if you meet him, he's a good, decent man.
I need to wrap it up. Look, from yourself and certain individuals, I can understand why you feel quite protective of Adnan Rashid. I get it. But you
respect him.
But you respect him. And you can't expect other people to have the same level of respect.
I don't like the witch hunt.
And what I can say is this, when it comes to this situation, no one's going to tell me to not ask questions. I will ask Adnan the questions, Mansour and Hashim. Shamsi's told me not to say, but it's whether they like the way I frame it or not.
I don't think you're being fair.
If Adnan Rashid last week come onto camera and said, okay, that video of me in 2003 was me. I made a mistake. It was a long time ago.
And I've seen one like ages ago.
And 2 weeks ago, it says it's not him again. So we got a question. He says he doesn't know who Abu Qasim. Hardly knew him, but I saw him hundreds of times with him, very close. So the point is,
it doesn't mean that you know the person.
If I was filming, do you know how well I know certain individuals that film.
But he might not know him,
dude. If somebody's coming up to you week after week, putting your thing on, can I
There's
film
hundreds
you?
of people here.
You start to build a relationship.
Raj, no, you don't. Not
Dude,
necessarily.
you do.
The Abdul Qasim hardly spoke, yeah.
You do. He did speak a lot.
He didn't speak, man. Like he'd be away from the
you're
camera
making
most of the time,
you're making
man.
as Abdul Qasim was some little guy that stood in the corner. I got loads of videos of him in the background, chilling with all the Dawa teams and stuff. He was speaking, even when we told Ali Dawa a couple of weeks ago that this guy is linked to Andrew Chowdhury. Ali Dawa still put his hand out and
we've
shook
got
his hand.
extremists that infiltrate us, yeah? We get extremists, and that's the problem in our community at the moment. We got these, sometimes you don't even know. This guy was here for years, no one knew what he was
We'll
on.
save this guy.
Yeah, but...
We'll save him, we'll save
Yo,
him.
no one knew what he
One
believed.
left, we'll
Like, do
save
you know
him.
what I mean?
He's got like a little bit of good in him.
I
We'll
think
save
he
him.
has got good in him. But no, I think he's a good guy. But yeah. With Dower, man, yeah. Well, the man was 17 years old, bro. But this one, yeah, of course, bro. I made a mistake. I can't say anything. I probably was the worst. The guy was 17 years old, and Adnan condemned him so heavily, bro. You don't mind not knowing.
Is that why you fell out with Dawa, man?
Yeah, that is one of the reasons, yeah, right? But he said to his son, look, what you doing, bro? What's all this nonsense? Adnan, I know, I'm telling you, right, and this is not, because I don't know Adnan that well, let me just be clear, yeah? But I've seen so many, we go out of like London, see so many roadmen, Adnan Rashid, right? These guys probably would have been your extremists had they not been for people like Adnan Rashid. Do you know what I mean?
No, I agree with you. He's done some good. It doesn't mean we can't critique him now.
No, of course critique,
we
but
will
be
critique
fair,
him.
But be fair,
we are being fair. We are using the same lens that he put onto us. He has called me an Islamophobe, racist, Tommy Robinson instigator,
but you are
paid
Tommy
agent.
Robinson, but you say you're
when
Tommy
when you
Robinson,
say I'm a paid agent.
No, I don't think you're paid
So
agent.
no, but this is what he says all the time. So when he calls Steve a racist and a paid agent, you can't expect Steve to then be nice to him.
Steve can't be suspicious though.
When he called Soko just 2 weeks ago a terrorist channel, and then your guy that films you is a real terrorist, don't expect him to be nice to you. Adnan Rashid is reaping what he sowed.
I get your point,
and I'm not going to show.
I think one has to be fair. I just want to make a clarity.
Yeah, and I appreciate that.
Would you agree?
I appreciate
Would you
that.
agree Adnan's not the problem though?
I'm not going to agree to that. I'm not going to agree to that.
Yeah, go on. Yeah, go on. Yeah.
The son said
I'm going to go anyway.
What's happening? Where he said, we give dawah, and then they go and do whatever they want to do afterwards. Whether it's spiritual jihad, which is in not in going and doing crime, or something else.
Yeah.
The something else he was referring to.
Who said that?
I'm assuming that it was Adnan Rashid's son. I'm not going to say that it was. I'm not 100% sure. It was on the title that it was Adnan Rashid's son. The problem what I've got is that if you go to somebody and you is actively giving dawah in the park, there's people actively giving dawah in the park.
Sorry.
Not
telling the truth, not being honest about the whole of Islam.
Yeah. You're giving half the story. When you give the dawah, and Adnan Rashid's son was saying, you give them dawah, you hope that they become Muslim. When they become Muslim, they feel the ummah, which is a brotherhood. Yeah.
Once you feel that,
once you
I'm
feel
going to go home in a minute. I understand where you're coming from. I understand where you're coming from, but that doesn't mean that Adnan Rashid is the same.
By the way, no one should be cussing the Welsh family. You don't need to all stop that, man.
What's that?
Yeah, they're cussing his mum and bringing his mum and take, all that nonsense like some people are doing.
He's a silly old man, man.
Pay
no attention to
him. He was 17 years old at the time, so I understand that.
Yeah, he was young, isn't it?
But what he said, the message of what he said, really worried me in the fact of when people are giving dawah, they're giving dawah.
Yeah, they don't tell the whole story.
No, it's true. Sometimes they don't. Sometimes.
This is him, I just remember he said it to me. It's not my opinion, it's his opinion.
The whole story is not.
Then I've got you can't leave.
You're giving half the truth.
Yeah.
When that person converts, it becomes becomes part of the Ummah, which is the brotherhood. When you become, if you was to give me down and and become a Muslim, I could feel the Ummah, which is in Syria, Muslim brothers around. I'm supposed to feel the Ummah. Come listen if you're like a listen, I'm supposed to feel the Ummah. He said after you feel the Ummah, then I can go and do jihad. He didn't say specifically as in war, so I'm not going to put that on him. He said as in giving dawah to other people, and if you want to do something else about it, and I took that to mean jihad in another country. But then I'd seen Adnan Rashid afterwards around here with Abu Kazim and then with the guy Sheikh Faisal. At first he was saying, I'm with you, and then when they get something bad happens, it seems like he's throwing that person under the bus. Do you understand what I'm saying? I was seeing, for me personally, I don't agree with the fanaticism of what Sheikh Faisal on those people stand for, but I see it was quite slimy for Adnan Rashid to be trying to big these people up, and then at the same time, when something happens to the guy a couple of weeks ago, and he goes to Belmarsh, says to that guy, wants to try and condemn him on camera, and then say to him on camera, and then make him, that person, look bad when the other week you was with that guy, like he was his.
So my thing is, let's take it back. Me and Adnan are similar ages, Back that 2003, 2001, 1999, Sheikh Faisal was on the scene, admitting, bro, every this is a time where there was cassettes. Bro, that's how I came to Islam. I learned I didn't know nothing about Islam. The first Islam that I found was a tape from Sheikh Faisal, So we'd go to Chicken Cottage, bro, listen to this, but make sure the authorities, Jamaican, and with a lot of Asians, I'm gonna be honest with you, some of them have this inferiority complex where they want to be in a certain way, and you got a black preacher, he's cool, and he was a good preacher in the sense that he could deliver his message. If you don't know anything else, you're gonna think, this is sound. You know what I mean? Adnan was young. Adnan, if you watch one of his videos, he used to like Chuck Demus in pliers. Woman, your love is like burning. You know what I'm saying? So you had Adnan on that vibe. Adnan suddenly got kind of religious, this guy's so loud, man. So you got Adnan now who's become religious. Now, when you become religious, like most religions, you're Christian, you're Hindu, you're Muslim, most people religious, they go full force. And a lot of youngsters went in there. And the main guy in London especially was Sheikh Faisal. After that, it was Omar Bakri Muhammad, bro. Everywhere you go, there would be you go to talks. That was the rhetoric, the kuffar. This was at the back of, wars from what's happening in Afghanistan. Then you had the Iraq war, stuff like that. That was the mentality. Then you had Abu Hamza. So if you want to be a bad boy, you want to be the real jihadi kind, this kind of, it wasn't. The roadman then was that kind of archetype where, you defend your religion. That was your identity. It's us versus them. I fell into that as well. You know what I mean? I fell into that.
And the world was made by him. Now, you mentioned the Musa Adnan video where it quotes.
Giselle, can I just finish my point? Just literally a minute. And what I'm saying in regards to that was so long ago, and then you say what you have to say, right? He's changed so much. Adnan went on a show, BBC, you can maybe watch it was called Big Questions and stuff. And he said something like, "You Jews," and everyone on the panel said, "You Jews, you what?" Blah blah blah. They all shut him down. But he's matured. He's become more of an academic, and I think that's been so progressive. I followed Adnan where I disagreed with him so many things, but I still disagree with him on loads of things. Age of Aisha, etc. So many other things, but he knows, in the sense that he's not an extremist. I know that. I've seen him shut down extremists. The thing is, sometimes, this is what I believe, God puts you in a certain situation where you learn the arguments of the extremists. I believe, this is divine, so then you can refute them.
So what we're saying then, he's evolved, he's a better person now, and you believe that he's a good human being?
I believe he's a very good human being.
I listened to the tape the other
And the only way...
Let me say what I need to say. What I need to say follows on from what you just said about the video about Musa Adnan. Musa Adnan said, because we can't tell them directly...
But this is like a video of 6 years ago, isn't it?
Wait, let me... Wait, please. Right, so in the video he said we can't directly tell them to go on jihad, but what we can do is give them the dawah. We can give them the dawah and they can fill it in a house. Now, when did that happen? Was that in 2013 or 2014? So you said about Adnan in 2003. This video was Adnan Rashid raising money for the aid convoy in 2013 December 2013. The video of Musa Adnan came out in 2014, was it? When he was
2000. This is 2013.
This is 2013.
So I haven't seen it. But what does he say?
You haven't seen it. Now let me draw your attention to this. This is.
I feel like it is a bit of a witch hunt, though. I'm real life.
I got nothing against him, but I don't understand why he denies being in that video. But I got nothing against him, though. I get on with him.
I think it was a long time ago.
Why didn't he just say that was me in the fucking video?
I haven't seen the video. I've got him.
It's only his voice. It's not even in it. It's his voice. But it really sounds like it.
It's hard to draw conclusions from that. There's a lot of people like his voice, especially in the Pakistani community.
I know something.
I don't know.
Can you see what that says?
I'm clean, no agenda, so I don't worry about it. I have fun with people.
Where are the Muslims? Yeah.
Okay. It's an aid convoy. It's an aid convoy to Syria.
Yeah, aid convoy to
Right, now
Syria.
can you read that?
Never dies, and the fire is never quenched. There is a place of outer darkness, and every sinner is going to that lost eternity. Unless you believe.
So,
this is IRA. This is the same group which Adnan is part of. And
Aira. Is it Aira? Aira's not extreme though.
Okay, but Adnan was raising money for people to go to Syria to fight.
Yeah.
His son
No, not fight.
His son also made the video around the same time. So he was. Adnan was not clear of this in 2003. That's my point. He was active in 2013 and 14.
Okay.
With regards to.
Can I? I'll let you finish your point, and then I'm gonna. Can I answer that point? Then you can tell me.
Everything that you just said, Harrison, I was so eager to butt in.
Yeah.
Because you're wrong.
Finish your point.
But you're right for what you understand. But this is quite. It's 2013.
Now you're good now, you're like...
Okay, so what Suzel's saying, from my understanding, you can watch it. He was raising money for an aid convoy, yeah? So Adnan, from my understanding,
At the same time that his son was recruiting for ISIS.
No, but here's the thing, you're drawing two conclusions, yeah? Adnan doesn't get on with Dawah, man. When he came here, you can check that for yourself. No. There's a long history there. But Adnan has done loads of charity work. Because that was just Adnan is doing charity work literally every single week. No, but it's fine. But listen to what I'm saying. Now within charities, you do get bad apples. There's loads of bad Muslims within, because sometimes they use these kind of charities to hide their real beliefs, unfortunately. Now, if there was an extremist, Adnan can't be responsible for that extremist within that charity. Do you understand? He's a public figure. There's going to be stuff that happens like that. I think it's a stretch to kind of link it to Musa Adnan. You know what I mean?
He's his excuse. You see that video where he says that's him? I mean, where everyone's accusing that of being him. Just the other day, he came to Speaker's Corner and said that is not him. That's what his voice
I haven't
is.
dealt.
That is nuts. I like the guy, but that is nuts.
If you know, look, listen, my sentence is conditional. If he says it's not him, like I can't see it, man. I haven't seen it. Have you listened to it? I haven't listened to it. No, that's what I was asking Suzel. I haven't seen it. I've seen there's a video back in the 2003. I've seen that. That's definitely him. But I haven't seen the recent one.
Everything that people here have looked at, come here the argument.
But do you think he's an extremist? Be honest, hand on your heart. No, you don't think he's an extremist. Do you think he's an extremist, Adnan? Be honest, man.
I'm not saying he's an extremist,
Yeah.
But I'm saying when he gives people different things, he's censored in the fact of they can go do whatever it is and then you feel crazy.
I don't think his son believes that. His son's on, bro. His son's so young, bro. Like he's like 20 something. He's on a journey himself, bro. You know what I mean? So I don't think his son probably. I think the problem with a lot of people that do dawah, they go in too early. They don't even know what they're talking about. And then they make mistakes. It's on camera, and it's hard for them to reach out. But do you think he's with extreme? Be honest with yourself.
It's not him, which is not.
I
don't know why. I don't know why he bothers.
I believe that when they say he's a terrorist, or when he says I don't believe in extremism or terrorism, I believe it's because he thinks it's justice. So anything that is done in the name of justice.
But you don't believe Adnan's is extremist. Be honest. Hand on your heart. Do you
I
think?
believe he is a servant of those extremists.
He's a what?
What I've seen.
You believe he's a what?
When talking to him, no.
Yeah.
But when he's been questioned, were you in Jesus Christ is the Lamb. And every time he gets backed into the corner, he shouts Tommy Robinson because Tommy's been against him.
But do you think Tommy's an extremist?
Not in that way.
Wow.
So,
Who do you think's more extreme?
Who's more extreme, Tommy Robinson or Adnan?
I don't think Adnan's an extremist.
I really don't know. I don't know who's extreme anymore.
My thing is, I know Adnan's on a journey, and I feel Adnan. I've followed him from afar for a long time, and I've been to talks like he doesn't even know I was there. Like there was Jonathan Brown. We went to Burbank. He didn't even know I was there. But I've seen him progress. In the last 2-3 years, he's progressed quite a lot.
Is he some sort of teacher?
No, as he's getting in academia,
is that what he does? He does lots of stuff like academia. I've only seen him from here. And like I said, I never had an argument with him. I've always spoken to him.
Oh, he's a good guy.
Yeah,
I disagree with him. Like, he might be a theology name is different. I think Adnan's from the heart.
I've not had a problem with the little fella either. No. I didn't say he's a. I mean, he is a Adnan. Yeah. I've not had a problem with him either.
Yeah, man. I'll go see him. Respect, brother. No, respect.
Nice one.
The Saviour, believe on the Lord Jesus Christ, and you shall be saved today.
And any of the wee man, Shamsi talking. Thinking of wee man, you don't know you're on the live. I'm just gonna come on this live now for a second, man, because I've been saying this.
This is the day of salvation. But many of you, it's going to be too late. Or is it the religion that is too late? You'll be on your deathbed. And then where you go after death. Because the Bible tells us after death comes the judgment.
Come back. Also, lastly, like, I really appreciate you taking a picture of the safe to Labour seats. You're guaranteed you might win. And then they ask you, do you want to stand for the party, your rubbish seat? Well, you want to